Terry sometimes in the studio before the show starts is better than the show itself, and that's not that hard to do. Welcome into TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Ridiculously hot.
And it's only June.
Only June. It's like
we're on preheat right now.
So you caught me walking this morning. You were like, what are you doing? So I was just walking down the road on my way to just get some steps in because I'm going out of town later. My 3 of my 4 kids have a soccer tournament this weekend in Dallas. In fact, the twins are riding with the Vargas family right now on their way to Dallas, probably listening. So I had to get my steps in because I'm going to lose those 3 hours because I'm a freak. I'm a weirdo, and I track everything I do in life. It was a little embarrassing being in jeans, sweating, and then Olin's driving by like, did you get a flat? What happened?
I see nothing embarrassing. I admire your tenacity, your dedication. I already got my steps in. I got up this morning, did my 2 miles on my treadmill, and then walked another mile for the 5th time this week ever since Monday. Turn over that new.
You wake up early.
I don't want to, but it just happens. So, do you just lay there and stare at the ceiling?
You can't go back to sleep.
Rarely.
What time do you go to bed?
Last night I was probably sleeping by 10:30 or 11, somewhere around.
And you're
there.
up by 5?
I woke up today. I want to say it was. I looked at the clock, and I want to say it was like 5:20.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm laying there.
It's okay.
Why don't I just get up?
Yeah.
So I got up.
I like getting up and getting my day going. So I thought of a topic this morning, and I'm curious to see where you'll stand on this.
Okay.
And this is going to be open to the A&B text line, by the way, 979-693-1150. A&B, a College Station branch of the Amarillo National Bank. Good Texas banking. The website is amb.com. All right, OB. Which month, okay, we're breaking it down into months,
okay,
of the 2023 season determines what kind of year the Aggies have. And if you need me to kind of give you a reminder of the season, we can do that because there is the obvious first month of the season where you're going to have mostly non-conference games. You do have Auburn, and I forget if Arkansas falls into the September category, but you have that one. You have October where you're going to have that run against Tennessee and Alabama. And you also have the November month, which you're going to have the Mississippi school. So I kind of want you to think about it. I have the schedule right here in front of me. So September, New Mexico, Miami, Louisiana, Monroe, Auburn, and Arkansas. You have 5 games, right? Mm-hmm. You have the next month being October, where you'll have, Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina. Then the final month of the season, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, ACU, and LSU. Break it down into months. Which month is the most crucial for A&M's success this year?
Well, it would be easy to say October because you have Alabama and Tennessee back to back.
Right.
But I keep, what do they say? Always go with your first instinct. And this isn't sexy, but it might be September.
Okay.
Because you have the opportunity and probably should match the entire win total of last year in September.
Okay.
And if you are, I think September kind of told us what kind of team A&M was going to have last year.
Sure.
They're losing to Appalachian State and not looking that great against Miami and getting lucky to win against Arkansas. And you're like, September kind of gave us a pretty good idea that this might be a tough year.
So I'm going to go with November.
Well, November is the month. November is when
clean up your resume.
When contenders and pretenders are separated.
Absolutely. And here's some of my thinking. I think the first month of the season is very manageable. Obviously a couple losses puts you down in a bad spot, but it's very manageable. I think you can get through that first part of the season and be in a pretty good spot. If you lose to Bama and Tennessee, not saying you're going to, but if you lose to Bama and Tennessee, I think you can rebound from that because if you beat the Mississippi schools and you beat LSU, I think that determines what kind of year you have. Because let's say you get through that whole part of the season, you're, 7-1 at that point or whatever it would be, right? You lose to the Mississippi schools again, it changes the whole complexion of the season.
True, and that's a great point. In fact, I have often believed that the key individual game is Mississippi State.
Okay.
If you lose to Mississippi State, your season, not because you lost to Mississippi State, but it's just been the case, has been disappointing. When you've beaten Mississippi State, you've had a strong year, by and large. And I can go back to that, what was it, 2016? When they were in at Mississippi, maybe it's 2015, I forget. And the 16th, I think, was Trevor Knight year. And you're number 4 in the first playoff ranking, and you're looking at postseason, and you lose at Mississippi State. And people say, yeah, Trevor got hurt, and that's true. That was a big part of that. But the fact that you couldn't stop Mississippi State from moving the ball, it went from possibly a tremendous year to a very disappointing one.
Yeah.
So that now that you made that point, that argument, I might be inclined to agree with you because Mississippi State's in November along with Ole Miss and then LSU. But
back to your thought, September, what September can do. And look, we've seen it in football somewhat in 2021. We've definitely seen it in basketball a couple years and in baseball. Who you are in the beginning of the season doesn't necessarily tell you who you're going to be at the end of the year. But I think for Aggie football last year, it was revealing who they really were after the Sam Houston game, obviously after the Appalachian State game. Like, it was more revealing who they really were because of the way they played those games. And splitting those two games in particular, as much as they won the Sam Houston State game they did not play well. And it showed that their offensive line had a ways to go and stopping the run had a ways to go. And then in Appalachian State, it all came together for the opponent.
Yeah, I like playing with a lead. So if I can get off to a 5-0 start, I'm feeling like I've got a great chance to have a brilliant, spectacular year, right? Now, true, the heavy lifting comes later. But again, I'm going to use the weight room analogy because, next to Charles Atlas here. But if I can't lift the 100-pound weight, what makes me think I'm going to lift the 200-pound weight?
Right.
So that's why I think September is so important.
As long as you're not Ole Miss from last year, right? Who beefed up on a very easy first part of the schedule, and then was their only SEC win against A&M?
Yes. Well, after that early part.
Yeah.
After their first 7 games.
So that just tells you a little bit. So to me, I don't want to say it's how you close, because if you start bad, and by the way, there's no right or wrong answer, right? Like you can't really break a season into 3 months. But if you were going to break it down by month, if you have an expected start to the season, you have a hiccup or two in October, you can certainly finish very strong by taking care of the Mississippi schools and then hopefully taking care of business against LSU on the road. Yeah,
and hopefully you're 12-0 at the end of the year. But I think the goal is always 12-0, and the key to that is October, because those back-to-back games against Alabama and Tennessee, right? But to have what you're would identify as a really good year, maybe not spectacular, which is 12, but really good year, an acceptable year, would probably go to your point of November.
So let's say you win those 2 games, Alabama and Tennessee.
Oh, okay. So are we saying we're 7-0?
And you lose to any of the Mississippi schools, it ruins it.
That would just make me want to puke.
Yeah.
Just regurgitate all over the press box.
I can deal with splitting that series between those two in that series, between Bama and Tennessee, as long as you take care against Mississippi, because enough is enough.
It's true, and you got to go to Oxford.
I don't care where you go. Play them in Neptune.
It's true, but I'm just saying that's where I'd want to puke, because puking on Oxford.
Yeah.
Now, I would not be the first Texas media to throw up in the press box in Oxford, but that's
right?
But that's another story for
somebody time. I know.
I don't know.
Okay, not somebody who used to work here, I guess, is what I'm asking.
No.
That would have been a great story. I would have heard of that one by now. All right, if you guys want to comment on that, you can do that on the AMB text line. We'll talk about that a little bit more, and I got some other interesting topics to get into this morning. We're going to go through Hop's top 10 quarterbacks as well. He has a list of top 10 quarterbacks in Aggie history. We'll kind of get OB's thoughts on all of that. But right now, let's go to the news and the Social Center. She wasn't ready for it because typically, oh, by the way, can I just make an announcement real quick? Must-listen radio after this show.
Really?
The Louis Bellina show.
What's going to happen on the Louis Bellina show?
Nick Savage is hosting.
Nicholas.
Nick Savage.
Yeah, it'll be the first time I listen. I'm kidding, Louis.
It's going to be a Savage show.
I listened to 98. Oh, wait, you didn't have a show yet. But I've listened. I'm joking. But I'm very excited for Nick Savage. So, in a way, it's like an extension of TexAgs Radio.
Yeah.
But not.
I typically listen at least at some point of the day to the Louis show, too. So,
Yeah.
I'll be hearing Nick.
Yeah, I'm excited for Nick. He did a great job last week when I had to leave for a little bit because of my mom's emergency. Filled in great. Then he hosted the show one day. So this guy is what they call he's a riser. Is that what do they call it? A stock rising, whatever.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about. I'm a weirdo. Sorry.
How about an emerging star?
He's emerging.
I was going to say like a jack of all trades or something like that, but
Typically when you're a jack of all trades, you're not really good at anything. You can just do a lot.
Oh, well, Nick can do everything well.
So can Dalton.
So can Dalton.
So can Jamie.
Jamie can as well.
So can Richard.
Mm-hmm.
So can Olin.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
I think Olin can.
Everything?
Most things. But that's, yeah.
No.
That's a
There's
personal
nothing I
thing.
can't learn to do. I'll say that.
They're very good. We like confidence. How are y'all this morning? How's your Friday going, guys?
A little bit of a headache, but I'm all right.
And I just found out, 15 minutes
If
ago
that, yeah.
Father's Day is Sunday. I had no idea.
I had to tell, or I guess Olin, David knew, but I had to tell Olin that Father's Day was this weekend.
You know why in the Buchanan household every day is Father's Day?
That's so true. They always just appreciate Olin.
They love him.
Yeah.
He's a lovable guy. How could you not love him? Well, David, you wanted an update.
Thank you for the awkward segue. That's
What?
good.
How was that awkward?
I think both of you went.
Yeah.
There's like Billy Bob Thornton in here.
I don't know who that is.
You don't
but
know who Billy
By
Bob
the way, I think that Kay Nagley's dad looks kind of like Billy Bob Thornton.
That's where I've heard that name because Olin did call him Billy Bob Thornton the other day.
I thought it was a ridiculous comparison because I met Mr. Nagley the other day, good old Steve, and then you showed me the picture that you were talking about. It was from which movie? The Halle Berry movie?
Yeah, Monster Ball.
Monster Ball. And I was like, okay, in that particular movie, yes. I was thinking of like, was he Grumpy Santa? What was it?
Bad Santa was
Bad Santa.
my favorite Christmas movie, which says a lot about me.
Billy Bob Thornton is in Bad Santa?
He is the Bad Santa.
Oh, okay.
Are you familiar with the Bad Santa?
I don't think I am. Very familiar with Elf and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. That's about
Quality.
what I know.
Quality movie.
And I pointed out to Kay, hey, that's the look in that movie that got a relationship with Halle Berry. So if that's the look that got Halle Berry, that's not a bad look to have.
Halle Berry, timeless. All right, Miss Cavan.
Sorry, I was looking up Billy Bob Thornton. Oh, okay. He's in Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah,
Okay, that's not the first movie I would have thought of.
I didn't know he was in there.
Isn't he in Alvin and the Chip? He's with the little beard.
Is he in Alvin and the Chipmunks?
Maybe
think
not,
he's
but
the-
he
I don't
looks
think
like he
Billy
is.
Bob
It's
Thornton?
the guy that was in My Name is Earl, right?
I mean, like one of the most
No, he's
iconic
not.
actors of all time.
He's not.
He's in the Alamo. He's David Crockett.
Goliath.
He's in Bad News
Sling
Bears.
Blade, Fargo's. I forgot he was in Tombstone. Monsters Ball, Armageddon.
He's the coach in Friday Night Lights.
Okay.
The movie.
1883.
He plays Gary Gaines.
He was in 1883, wasn't he?
He is
He's
currently.
probably born.
Oh,
then.
2022.
Yep.
Did you just say he was probably born in 18? Okay, David, you asked me for a Sam Bennett update,
I
so
would
I'm
love
going to give
a
this.
U.S. Open update, please.
I'm going to give this Sam Bennett update really quick. So he is playing at the U.S. Open right now, like David just said, in Los Angeles, California. Guess who else is in Los Angeles or around in the surrounding areas of Los Angeles, California right now?
Who's that?
Any guesses?
Taylor Swift.
No.
Oh, who?
Our biggest Dodgers fan in the office.
Richard's there?
Yeah.
All right, Richard. Enjoy that, buddy.
Him and his, as he calls her, sissy, are going to watch the Dodgers play this weekend.
Enjoy that, man.
Yeah. Sam Bennett is tied for 7th right now, and he is 3 under par.
I don't think I like the way you said that. You just said it like he's tied for 7th.
Well,
he's tied for 7th.
He's tied for 7th with like a million other people.
But he's tied
Scotty
for...
Scheffler's in there.
There
That's
you
the
go. You know that name?
I know Scotty Scheffler.
Billy Bob Thornton's in there?
Yeah, for sure. That's the only other name that seems familiar.
Bob Thornton. That's the only name that seems familiar?
In the tied for 7th category, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It's a professional sports show, I promise. Billy Bob Thornton, Bad Santa. What else did we talk about? Heat.
Alamo.
The Alamo. Yeah. Anyway, he wasn't
Friday
in
Night
heat,
Lights.
just hot. I was talking about how hot it was outside.
It is hot.
When we come back, we'll do some top 10 quarterbacks in Texas A&M football history, thanks to Hop getting that column out. But right now, Obie, I don't have anything funny, anything weird to lead you on a Fargo's kind of rant. I'm just going to put it here. Piece of meat on the table. Go for it.
It doesn't have to be funny because there's nothing funny about going to Fargo's. That's serious business. That's serious eating, and it's serious good, especially on Fridays. Because on Fridays, some people don't want to eat just beef. Now, some people do, and it's there. But if you feel like, for whatever reason, today's the 4 C's.
Yeah?
Yeah, you can get some catfish.
I like catfish.
Corn.
I like corn.
You get some coleslaw. I know you don't like it, but
I'll pass
I do.
on the cold, but my wife will eat it. I'll give it to her.
And some crunchy hush puppies.
I can do one hush puppy. I can't do more.
Well, yeah, because you're always worried about whether or not you're going to have an extra calorie. But if you just enjoy the euphoria of food, of good food, man, you just consume those hush puppies. I love them.
The hush puppies there. And by the way, on Saturdays, they have an item that is, I guess, kind of popular.
Oh, God. My favorite. If rib tips...
Uh-oh.
You know what? I'll just say they're amazing.
They're amazing.
They'll change your life.
They're life-changing.
That's right. If rib tips was an evangelist, they'd have been Billy Graham.
Not Luke.
No, not Luke. I mean, he looks like Max Wright. Their rib tips look nothing like Max Wright, but they taste right.
They do taste right. They've been around for 22 years. It is Fargo's good food done the right way. 1701 South Texas Avenue in Bryan. Without a doubt, the best barbecue in town. That's their trademark because it's true. Go check it out.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. The Theater Company of Bryan College Station presents SpongeBob the Musical. Performances run through Sunday. Purchase tickets online at theatercompany.com/tickets. Early registration is open for the 15th annual Buffalo Stampede Race, presented by the Brazos Valley Museum of Natural History. Use code EARLYBIRD23 for 20% off. Register at brazosvalleymuseum.org. United Way of the Brazos Valley invites you to take part in its upcoming Day of Action. Help assemble 1,500 baby bundles for local newborns the morning of Wednesday, June 21st at SOS Ministries. Find more information and sign up at uwbv.org. The Adam Reuter Masonic Lodge in Welborn is holding a pork butt fundraiser. Find the lodge on Facebook for more information. You can hear Houston Astros baseball all summer long on The Zone and select games on Gospel 97.3 FM thanks to Kelly Burt Dozer. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Maroon U is your ultimate stop for brand name apparel, gifts, and accessories for the entire family. From Columbia, 47 brand, Yeti, Dooney & Burke, and Adidas, we're able to outfit you for every occasion. Visit Maroon U and our family of companies on Holloman Drive in College Station to shop the latest in brand name Aggie merchandise. Shop Maroon U today, voted best in the Brazos' best gift shop since 2016. Maroon never looked so good with Maroon U.
Summer is the perfect time to enjoy the great outdoors, and what better way than a picnic? But why settle for just a picnic when you can add some fun and creativity to it with Epicures? From the backyard picnic, the neighborhood gathering, family reunion, company party, or pool party, Epicures has you covered. Fajita fiesta with all of the sides, a nacho blowout including beans and rice, or a grilled get-together with burgers, hot dogs, and chicken. The food is just the beginning. Choose an alcoholic or non-alcoholic bar, dessert bar, and of course the lawn games. Epicures can bring croquet, bocce ball, cornhole, horseshoes, giant Jenga, and even water balloons. This summer, let Epicures help you with your summer picnic. The possibilities are endless. Contact Epicures to book your summer picnic today at epicuresexperience.com. epicuresexperience.com.
This Shelby, previously on the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Matt is up next in Tennessee. Hey, Matt.
Hey, what's up, brother?
We're doing great.
I hear you. You're almost through the day, man.
We decided that even though we were still on, Randy opened up the studio bar. So we're a little buzzed right now, but don't let us stop you.
It's the Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on the Zone.
If we did a tally of every artist we've played on this show since I've been here, I think Bob Seger would probably have the most notches.
We play Bob Seger a lot, and rightly so.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Bob Seger fan. He's right up there with Tom Petty in my book, and it's a big book.
But they're number 1 and 2?
I'd have to think on it some more, but in terms of that genre, if they're not 1 and 2, they're really high on the list.
Yep. There's a bug in here that I'm not a fan of. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Oh, looky here on the YouTube chat. Jacob says, golf update, right? Stripped and go right back to Nick. So Nick's going to be hosting Louie's show. He usually gives us, one little bit of information. A lot of times it's golf. Kennedy Cavan gave us a little update on golf on Sam Bennett, which I appreciated. And then Jacob came for the jugular.
Wow.
Jacob, I just want to say that was rude. It was rude. And also, it's a Friday. You need to, you know what? I'm not even going to say that. Put a smile on your face, and I hope you have a really good day and a great weekend. And if you're a father, happy Father's Day, Jacob.
Why did you say that with a mean face smile? Like you were smiling, but you had a mean face.
I think in the Bible, Jacob was a name that, was conniving, and he was not highly thought of at first.
Yeah. Well, let me give another update on the U.S. Open because we did talk about Sam Bennett. But I do want to say that Ricky Fowler and, is it Schauffele?
Don't look at me if it's golf.
Leading the way. Dustin Johnson's tied for third. There's some others out there. But I at least wanted to give you a little bit of the top of the order so that we can kind of all bring it full circle, Miss Cavan.
We love a good full circle.
Anyway, that's great radio.
I'm just trying to lighten up the mood here in the room because David has a headache. Ellen's actually in a good mood.
I'm in a good mood.
It's real dark back there in the production room. It's just not a typical Friday.
But silent hand gestures just don't do well on the radio.
Well, if you're not watching the YouTube or the live stream, I did a circle with my hands for a full circle.
And hello to our friends on the CW who are watching us on KBTX.
CW.
They can see us. By the way, if you're watching us on the CW, send us a hello on the A&B text line. Just say, yeah, CW fan here. Hop's top 10 quarterbacks in Texas A&M program history. So number 1, I think it's going to be number 1 for everybody.
Johnny Manziel.
Got to be.
In fact, I did. But I won't hijack this, but I did in 2012 on October 1st. We posted my top 10 in A&M history. Of course, Johnny Manziel wasn't on there at the time.
Right. Who was number 1 at the time?
At the time, and I probably would have changed it even if not for Johnny. I had Kevin Murray, number 2.
Well,
or he would be number 2 on my list now.
So number 2 on Hop's list is Kevin Murray.
Oh, how about that?
So Kevin Murray, 27-8, 6,500 touchdowns, 53 touchdowns, I should say, and a 126.9 passer rating. Pretty good.
Is Bucky next?
Bucky is not next.
Oh, see, I'd had Bucky next.
I'm going to let you guess. If not Bucky, who? Recent history.
Kellen Mond.
Kellen Mond, number 3.
Yeah, I saw them both. Kellen Mond, while was a good player, he was not. He was not a better quarterback than Bucky Richardson.
Yep. I will tell you that Bucky is in my top 2, maybe top 3. I recognize the greatness that is Kevin Murray, but I'm going to go ahead and just say my youth, my love of Aggie football started because of Bucky Richardson. So it kind of, when you have like a quote-unquote idol, like he was my football guy, it changes the way you look at everything.
Here's where people, in my opinion, get all off track on quarterbacks. Was Bucky a great passer? He actually, by the time he was a senior, he was a really good passer. Was he a better passer than Kellen Mond? Probably not. But that's not necessarily what makes you a great quarterback. As a quarterback is you move your offense.
And he could do that.
It doesn't matter how you do it. It's that you move your offense and avoid mistakes. And as much as I liked Kellen, let's be honest. Kellen had a real problem with turnovers.
Not his last year.
Not his last year.
Last year he was phenomenal. Number 4 on the list, Corey Pulig.
I had him number 3 on my list in 2000. What would that have been? 2012. I would probably put Kellen Mond in there on my list now, right behind Bucky Richardson at 4.
Yeah.
So he has Corey.
Yeah, and one of the lines he has here is the perception is that Pulig was just a game manager that happened to play in an era with the most talented roster in the Southwest Conference. That's certainly true, but A&M was so much better than the rest of the Southwest Conference that the team played down to competition at times. He produced 7,000 yards, 48 touchdowns, respectable passer rating of 126.
I think he is one of the least appreciated quarterbacks that A&M has ever had.
100%.
Until he got hurt at Houston in the Astrodome in '94, and his replacement struggled, and then he hobbled back in, and everybody said, "Oh, we love Corey Pulig."
We love Corey Pulig. So as I mentioned, Bucky Richardson, number 5 on this list. We go to number 6.
I put Ed Hargett.
They have Ryan Tannehill on here, or they being Hop. Ryan Tannehill was the number 8 pick in the first round by the Dolphins. Great athlete, talented passer, and the stats back it up with 7,400 passing yards.
Okay. I'll stick with Ed Hargett. But I wouldn't have any trouble putting Ryan Tannehill right behind Ed Hargett.
Well, he has Ed Hargett at number 7 there, 1966 through 1968. We had him in studio not that long ago. 110 passer rating, 5,379 yards passing, 46 touchdowns. When they weren't throwing the ball all the time, by the way. Pretty good numbers. Mm-hmm. Gerard Johnson, number 8.
I would have put David Walker ahead of Gerard Johnson. In fact, I did. And then I'd have Gerard Johnson right behind him.
From 2007 to 2010, he threw for almost 9,000 yards, 83 touchdowns, and a 134.4 passer rating. Okay. Number 9. At one point, I thought he could have been number 1 on this list.
Okay.
Reggie McNeil. Could have. I thought he was going to trend in that direction when A&M got him. Reggie was great. 22 and 25 as a starter, though. 8,881 yards passing, 59 touchdowns.
I love Reggie McNeil. And I don't think there's ever been a better athlete to play quarterback at Texas A&M. But I don't know that I would have had him on my top 10.
Okay. Number 10, Roddy Osborne. 1956 through 1957, he went 17-3, 1,600 yards passing, 17 touchdowns, 125 passer rating.
I'd have had Steve McGee.
Well, he has honorable mentions, and I'm going to read you the honorable mentions.
See, okay. To me, the honorable mentions like, okay, make a stand. Say, here's my 10. And then it's like, oh, but, you know.
But I love this guy, too.
Yeah.
Gary Kubiak.
Okay, he was really good.
Coobs!
He was so good on some questionable teams.
Stephen McGee. He would have been on your top 10,
He'd have been on my top 10 without a doubt.
Kyle Allen.
No. He'd get a dishonorable mention. Hop, I love you, but I don't know what you're thinking. The 3 interceptions for the 3 pick sixes wasn't enough to.
We need to do a debate show, you guys. Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless on this topic. That'd be fun. Kenny Trill Hill on the honorable mention.
Well, honorable mention for playing half a season? He played half a season. Now, wait. Now, I'll say this about Kenny. Kenny was made a scapegoat for their problems in, what was that, 2014?
Yes.
You know, they go down to, they're what, 4-0? They go to Mississippi State, and they get beat when they have like 15 drop passes. And all of a sudden, people are questioning Kenny Hill because he had some interceptions, but he also had 15 drop passes. And then they get blown out by, 59-0 Alabama? Yeah. And somehow that's Kenny's fault? And they ended up taking him out. But, you know, the previous coaching regime, I think, mishandled a lot of quarterbacks.
Well, the other... Let's see. I'll just do career wins. Kellen with 33, Corey Pulig with 33, Kevin Murray with 27, Bucky with 24, Gerard Johnson 26, I should have said. Winning percentage, Roddy Osborne 850, Corey Pulig 846, Bucky at 800, and total touchdowns. Number 1, Johnny tied with Kellen at 93.
Yeah, but here's the thing that gets me about when people, even today, and I'm talking about NFL quarterbacks too, as if a quarterback is the same as a pitcher. Like, hey, you got this many wins. And I'm thinking, I go back to Brad Johnson. Hey, Max's dad, happy Father's Day coming up. But he won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. You're going to give them credit for that. It had nothing to do with the defense holding every team you played to 10 points or less, just about, right?
Well, I mean, those were...
Well, Tim Tebow won a playoff game for the Broncos. Now, the team they beat, I think, scored 10 points. But, you see where I'm going there?
Wasn't he great on that last drive, though, in my record?
I think he threw a touchdown pass, right? He had one touchdown pass the whole game, right?
Yeah.
So he won the game.
But he converted a few fourth downs or third downs.
They scored 10 points. The team they played scored 10 points.
So what you're saying is the quarterback gets too much credit.
Absolutely. And it makes who was a better quarterback? Who was a better quarterback in the state of Florida? No offense, Brad Johnson or Dan Marino?
I think Dan Marino.
Who won a Super Bowl? Who didn't?
Dan Marino did not. He went to it his rookie year.
He went. Yeah,
but he did not win it.
So. But them say, hey, if you haven't won a championship, you're not this elite quarterback. That's the biggest bunch of garbage ever.
No, but I think for those...
Archie Manning was an outstanding quarterback that was always stuck on terrible teams.
But I think sometimes winning the Super Bowl will differentiate you from those in that same category.
Well, you always want... Well, that takes me to another pet peeve of when, like, I hear the guy that comes on before us, that Kellerman guys, always questioning Bill Belichick. Hey, he's never won a championship without Tom Brady. Okay, Bill Walsh, was he a great coach?
Because he didn't win it without
Did he ever
Joe
win one
Montana?
without John Montana? Was Tom Landry a great coach?
Very good.
Who?
Jimmy Johnson had Troy.
Jimmy Johnson had Troy. He had Landry had Roger Staubach when he won. Chuck Noll. I believe Terry Bradshaw was the quarterback on all those. What are you talking about?
Let's hit a break here. We can continue down this path. We're also going to look at Evan Stewart's top 5 plays of 2022. Our interns in the back picked 5 plays for us. We're kind of going to look through them. And in top 5 plays, look, if you have other ones you want to send our way, you can certainly do it. But some of these plays are, they could be not monumental, but they meant something to him at that point. So we'll go through some of those plays right now. But right now, there's a lot of bugs in the studio. I don't know why. Milliken Reserve, they got bugs too. But they got other things. I bet. Yeah,
they got other kinds of wildlife to eat all those bugs that are bothering.
Yeah, they do. But they got beautiful white-tailed deer.
I've not been out there to see them, but I'd like to. I
actually met a young lady yesterday who lives out there and was telling me, you got to have the kids go to the Milliken Reserve camp. They love it. The Milliken camp is awesome. I'm like, all right. I talk about it, but I haven't sent my kids. Not a bad idea. I was at HEB. She saw Billy. She saw me, and she's like, hey, let's talk about Milliken. And we started talking about it. Great community. They've got ponds, they've got creeks, they've got great gathering areas, they've got families that cherish generation after generation, because when you have a home there at Milliken Reserve, they're going to make sure that the whole area is preserved and generation after generation can come back to that same pristine countryside place. It is Milliken Reserve, the website, millikenreserve.com, millikenreserve.com.
We are going. Are you ready? The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
Where champions are made when nobody's watching.
It's time. Here we go!
Let's go!
We're here with Jackson Rollo from Rollo Insurance. And Jackson, you guys have been around for a long time. You're the very best at what you do. But I ask you, why Rollo Insurance?
Well, we've been growing recently with over 45 offices in multiple states. But we haven't lost who we are. We're still super focused on being hyper-local and involved in the communities in which you're going to find a Rollo Insurance office. And we offer products like home, auto, life, health, and business insurance from some of the top carriers in our industry.
You name it, they do it. Visit RolloInsurance.com.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
To succeed in sports, athletes must do the little things to get better every day. The same applies in business. Howdy, I'm Stephanie Gomez, Treasury Management Officer from Veribank. We understand the impact of mastering the little things. We pay attention to detail to find the right product or service for your business, like tech tools to manage your cash and payments or financing options for expansion. At Veribank, we believe in better business banking every day. Visit us at veribank.com today. That's VERAbank.com.
Veribank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
At ASCO, we're on it, and Case IH Farmall tractors are on it too. For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the little red tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, you can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and baling, and then some. Visit ASCO Equipment in Bryan to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you. At ASCO, we're on it.
If you own construction equipment and have yet to experience WPI's world-class service, WPI is now offering field service and deep discounts to all new customers. This is Timothy Cornup, your local branch manager at WPI. Regardless of your machine's make or model, call WPI and receive your new customer discount. From custom hydraulic hoses, O-rings, and DEF, to teeth, buckets, and blades, any part, filter, fluid, battery, or lighting for every brand of equipment is at your local WPI. Highway 21 East at Marina Road, or click WPI.com.
Sign up now for the Zone All Access newsletter, brought to you by Caliber, the wealth development company. Want to know what guests are coming on the show and when? Want to know the contests, the events, and what's going on with the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM? Sign up for the Zone All Access newsletter at zone1150.com. You can call Caliber to learn how you can invest in commercial real estate right here in Bryan College Station that supports the community while producing real returns for investors. The Zone All Access newsletter. Sign up today.
Touchdown against Arkansas was
Honorable mention. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. OB and I going back on these Evan Stewart top plays. So a couple of the interns in the back put some good work into this Cade and Brighton. Came up with 5 plays that kind of, I don't want to say define Evan Stewart's season, but the top plays from that season. I'll give a little bit of info on these. I believe we have the clips are ready to go. Jams is out there helping us as Nick is getting ready for the Louis Bellina show. But let's go with the first play of the game, and that would be the one-handed touchdown catch versus Ole Miss. Game tied at 7, and it's going to be a left-handed catch. Here we go to the highlights right here. Look at this one, OB. Skies it with his left hand, gets the touchdown on the corner.
I can understand why that would be number 1 on the list.
And I don't know if this is number 1 on the list as in like in order, just the first one on the list. But a beautiful one-handed catch, no doubt about that one. Very impressive, and he makes it look easy. Look, catching with your left hand over the top like that, beautiful. And he just kind of skies it and gets it. So that was a beautiful one.
That's kind of I guess an A&M receiver thing is try to catch one-handed touchdown passes on that end of the field.
So let's go to number 2. And he actually had, for number 2, a couple different catches against Alabama. First one where he boxed out the defender. And this is not the fourth quarter one that we all remember. This is another one as Alabama is up 14-7. Look at that beautiful catch. His athleticism was on display in this game. This is the game where I think people realize, holy smokes, we got ourselves up. And there's the second one right there.
The second one when he's
that's the most iconic one.
Haynes throws into double coverage, and Evan Stewart just out jumps 2 guys and pulls it in.
I was on the sideline.
That was an amazing catch.
I think you were too. We were on the sideline. Were you on the sideline for that right there, or were you in the press box still?
I think I was still in the press box then.
So I was standing there with Billy and I believe Seth, and when I first saw it happen, I was like, oh, that's picked. And then when I see him get up, I'm like, holy smokes, he made that catch. And I was like, we're going to go win this freaking game.
Yeah. He was spectacular in that game, no doubt.
All right, another Ole Miss game. Let's go to Evan taking on Ole Miss there. Again, not a game that we won, but he had made a couple of catches in a row, and that one puts him inside the 5-yard line. Certainly had a chance to get A&M back into that game. They were down 10 at that point, and they would go on and score. So that's a big one.
What he did on the 2 catches against Alabama that we showed is the ball is actually underthrown.
Yep.
And he makes a great adjustment, comes back, and he's well covered and wins what essentially is a 50-50 ball that shouldn't have been if it had been thrown better. But he went and got it. And for a long time, A&M had a problem finding a receiver that could win those 50-50 balls.
He wins his 50-50 balls. This next one, look, we're going to go to the South Carolina game. It wasn't even 17-0 yet. But it was a nice catch right here. Getting into the middle of the field. Unfortunately, turnovers and 17-0 later, that game is almost not worth talking about because it's one of the – it's not the worst moment of the season. Obviously, App State is, but this is a game, even with that 17-0 lead with 9 minutes left in the first quarter, whatever it was, A&M should have still won that game.
Yeah, they needed a big defensive stop late and didn't get it, but really, if they'd just gotten out of their own way in the first 5 minutes of the game, they could have won that game. Now, that's a top five. The one I would have on there in the top five.
We got one more. We got one more. And
did I not count five?
Yeah, there are 5 plays, but I think he lumped Alabama as the Alabama moment. Okay, we're going to go to Evan versus Sam Houston State. His second reception as a collegiate player, and it looks like just a routine play over the middle, but then his speed and his ability to get extra yards right here. I mean, it should have been stopped, and I believe they tack on a penalty. Yeah, they sure do right there as they hit him late on that play. But his second play, but we could kind of see his athleticism there. Some good blocking, by the way, and just the ability to get around.
Yeah, I don't mean to disparage that because it was a nice play, but I've seen literally dozens of players make that same play, and even against better competition than Sam Houston. What I would say,
Arkansas, right?
Was Arkansas, Max Johnson. I think it might have been a third down. It might have been. I have to go back. And Max is under heavy pressure and throws it into the end zone, about 15 yards, maybe less. And Evan makes a really nice adjustment on the ball, catches the ball on his knees for a touchdown. And, oh, by the way, how important was that touchdown in that game?
Absolutely.
I mean, so if I was making a list, I would definitely put that Arkansas touchdown over the Sam Houston.
OB, when we come back, we are going to talk about your favorite topic. I'm not going to even tell you what it is, but it's one of your favorite things to talk about. You excited about that?
Yeah, well, I'm curious.
It has to do with a sport and a ball.
Okay.
And
I'm curious. What
could it be? It's something that you love to talk about.
I love to talk about a lot of stuff.
Well, this one you really love to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah. I think our audience is really going to like it, too. I like talking about Miami. In fact, I was going back and forth with Jacob, who works here, who's kind of getting our schedules down for our travel this year. And there's one game that I've brought up since I moved here all the time.
Yeah.
What game is that?
Miami.
Yeah. They should join the SEC just for me. Just for me. Permanent rival. Like, that is a huge rivalry.
No, I would sign off on it if you were going to make that the permanent rival. So
permanent rival.
Trip to Miami every 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it'd be fun, guys. We could do it, and we'll split it. Sometimes here, sometimes there. But if you are going to the Miami game, our friends at the Association of Former Students want you to spend the weekend with them at South Beach with a hotel and a group of other Aggies while receiving special access to the tailgate. Look no further than Traveling Aggies Miami Football Weekend, September 8th through September 10th. My birthday, by the way, in South Beach. Forget about it. Join Aggies in Miami to watch the Aggie football beat the hell out of the Miami Hurricanes. This 3-day, 2-night weekend package includes hotel accommodations at the Hyatt-centric South Beach, Miami. Just steps from a variety of restaurants, bars, and entertainment. Love to go with Obia down South Beach to go to a rave party with you and film it.
I'm the life of the party.
That would be fun. Traveling Aggie program hosts over 70 trips a year, including cruises, safaris, tours by trains, and a wide variety of other affordable options. To learn more about this Miami football weekend, visit tx.ag/MiamiTrip23 or learn more about all the trips hosted by the Traveling Aggies at tx.ag/TravelingAggies.
I might get our meet on that trip. Yeah,
that's gonna be a good trip, buddy.
Yeah.
Check it out. The Association of Former Students.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. Troop Over the Hill continues its Friday night movie series this week with Annie. Doors open to the Main Street Playhouse at 5:30. The movie starts at 6. This Friday, the Brazos Valley Astronomy Club is hosting a star party at Dr. Spearman's Observatory in Robertson County. Visit brazosvalleyastronomyclub.org for more information. Come out to a Juneteenth Freedom Day celebration this Saturday at the Carver Event Center from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Free food, fun, and activities for the whole family. The Bryan Amateur Radio Club will hold its annual ARRL Field Day exercises at Earl Graham Post 159 on Saturday, June 24th and Sunday, June 25th. The public is invited to observe and will be offered an opportunity to speak on the radio to other hams across the country. Learn more on the club's Facebook page. Sign up for the Zone All Access newsletter brought to you by Caliber, the wealth development company. Sign up now at zone1150.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
David Nuño here to talk about how much I love Legacy Workspaces located in the heart of College Station on Longmire. Let me tell you something. Big box office spaces done. Finish. Done. Legacy Workspaces is leading the way in modern, affordable, impressive officing. So many great amenities like reserved parking, free office supplies on demand, impressive conference rooms to host your clients, and some of the best coffee in town. Ay que rico, repeatedly voted best of the Brazos Valley. Visit LegacyWorkspaces.com and leave your legacy today.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Dan Graziano, ESPN NFL insider. Justin Fields will lead the Bears to the playoffs this year. Overreaction or not an overreaction?
I say not an overreaction. I don't know if I'm willing to pick it, but I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, the NFC field is pretty wide open, and there's going to be 7 teams in the playoffs. And, I could see them making a big jump. They had a big offseason. He's a guy that seems to be, all about the work of getting better, and I think we'll see improvement there. Who knows? You could be a 9-8 playoff team at the Bears, I think.
Yeah, I think it's an overreaction.
Sure. All right.
Yeah. They could, right, the conference, the division, but I don't think they're there yet. I think if this was 2024 we were talking about, then I would be like, oh, it's not an overreaction, but this is so an overreaction.
Next year, that's a realistic expectation. I'm not trying to put that on Justin Fields this year.
It's Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor, here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
We should do a show behind the show.
We'd probably have higher ratings, but I'd probably be in jail.
Yeah, well, that's going to happen anyway, OB. That's the fact. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. I do have a topic I want to get into here in a moment, but let's read a text message or two. I saw a bunch of people from the CW watching. Kennedy Cabin's out there. Kennedy?
Well, David already said hi back to them, but hi, Hugh and Brian, and hi, PG Ag and King Oaks. Thanks for watching on the CW.
Oh, look at you.
Aww.
Weird. OB, I know you're a big soccer guy. Did you see, I know you didn't, the USA?
With all the red cards?
Yeah, look.
Can you believe
buddy.
that?
4 red cards in that game.
4 of them, yeah.
There was a fight. Yeah.
Even in the U.S. prevailed 3-0.
3-0. They've dominated that series against Mexico.
I refuse to say nil, by the way. I say nothing.
That's all right.
That's all right. Just a personal preference.
And in that game, they had to stop it early because of some of the chants that they were saying anti-gay remarks in the stadium. So they ended the game at the 89th minute.
Where was the game?
Las Vegas. Mostly a pro-Mexico crowd, believe it or not.
Oh, I believe it because
Americans don't.
Americans by and large don't get into soccer.
Right.
The way the Mexico does.
But that is our heated rival, especially in CONCACAF. And to go ahead and take care of business, I thought, let's go. Let's keep doing it.
I would rather our team win than lose.
Yeah.
I love for them to beat Mexico. If I was going to have an issue with any team, it would be Mexico. I think after 9/11, I remember hearing a story about a soccer game where the Mexican fans chanted Osama bin Laden, so they're dead to me. Ever since then.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so I'm glad to beat 3-0, and I'm glad some of our guys got the red cards, punking them.
So You remember a couple weeks back, Scottie Pippen went out and said that LeBron's the best player of all time.
Yeah, you think he was being facetious?
No, he was being for reals.
Okay.
And I think I figured out the why.
Okay.
So the initial why was, I know he was by the way, not long ago, he said Michael was the best player of all time. But this past month, he said that LeBron's the best player of all time. And 2 reasons. The documentary they did, what was it called again? The Last Dance. It was mostly about Michael. I know he had a problem with that, right? But it's Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time. Of course it was about Michael Jordan. The other reason is, do you know who his ex-wife, who still uses his name, is dating?
Michael Jordan.
No.
Oh, I was going to say.
Michael's son.
Michael's son. No, that's even worse.
Marcus Jordan is dating Larsa Pippen, who has dated Future and other rappers, by the way, all while being married to Scottie, in my understanding. And they have a podcast now. Marcus Jordan and Larsa Pippen have a podcast talking about their love.
Sounds like Scottie should do a podcast with Will Smith.
Right?
I think Scottie is one of those guys that I think he just needs to be bigger. You know, I think he's kind of, this is going on. Well, then Michael's not the greatest one, even though Michael made your career.
Yeah, but he doesn't think that. And all I have to tell people is I saw it up close. I went to a lot of the games that he played with the Rockets. They were a disaster, and I would say he was a bigger disaster than anything Barkley did and Hakeem in his late days. He went to Portland and was certainly a nice piece to their puzzle, but was not – in 1994, he almost won the MVP. He was fantastic the year Michael left. Outside of that, fantastic defender who could score, but not one of the 10 greatest players of all time. Michael Jordan is absolutely number one. And I can understand an argument for LeBron, but when it is obvious that you're upset about something and that's why you do it, you lose points with me.
Michael was undefeated in the finals.
And now his son is dating his teammates. I think ex-wife or maybe current wife. I don't know.
Did you ever see the movie Bad Teacher?
Sounds familiar.
And this guy who's a coach is arguing with a kid over who's the greatest of all time, and he says, Michael Jordan has 6 NBA championships. At that time, I don't know how many LeBron had. And the kid says, that's all you ever say. And he says, that's all I need to say.
That's true. Thank you, OB. Happy Father's Day, buddy.
Thank you.
When we come back, Ray Mickens. We'll get him on the program, chit-chat a little bit. Yeah, it'll be a good one. We'll talk with Ray next on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Each Tuesday at 1:55, I'm joined inside the Charles Schwab studio by April Plemons of Long Way Home Adoptables. We get to meet our mascot of the week, a dog, a cat, an animal looking for a permanent home. The mascot of the week on the Louis Bellina Show is brought to you by Waggy Pet Zone. Have you ever wondered what goes into training a service dog? Well, you can find out inside their service dog group classes. Sign up now. Get more information at waggypetzone.com.
Protect your computers, tablets, and smartphones from hackers by looking for secure internet addresses that begin with HTTPS. It is an indication they are protected by a secure encrypted connection. Only encrypted websites can help secure your internet communications and act as your first line of defense against hackers. A public service message from the Consumer Electronics Association.
Listen to The Zone online at RadioAggieland.com. Don't miss Louie, Chip, TexAgs, or your favorite Aggie teams as they play on The Zone. Listen online at RadioAggieland.com. This is KCNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on The Zone. The city of College Station is in the process of acquiring property to build a roundabout to replace a four-way stop at Holloman West and Jones Butler Road. The $1 million project was part of a city council update Monday night by Capital Projects Director Jennifer Kane.
So that'll include the roundabout design and construction and new sidewalk, pedestrian shared use paths there, and also ADA ramps. We look probably to start construction in the fall of next year.
Kane told the council that there are 94 active capital improvement projects in College Station. A list with the status of each one is online at blog.cstx.gov. Last February, the Bryan City Council agreed with Mayor Bobby Gutierrez to increase attendance requirements for members of some appointed city bodies. During Tuesday's meeting, a member of Bryan's Housing Authority Board was replaced after attending 25% of meetings over a 6-month period. That's after the mayor raised the minimum to 80%. The replacement was one of 2 appointments made to the Housing Board on Tuesday. Texas A&M gets a record-matching $5 million gift for a faculty position, which is also the largest endowed chair in the history of the Mays Business School. The A&M Foundation says the gift comes from Adam Sin, Aggie class of 2000. The foundation says Sin, who owns a commodity trading company, has contributed more than $51 million to the university. Sunday is the last day that Governor Abbott can sign or veto legislation from the regular session. Yet to be decided are about 240 Senate bills and about 100 House bills.
I've already looked at all the bills that I will agree to sign so far. And with each passing day, there'll be more vetoed that simply are not going to make it to the finish line.
Abbott told reporters more vetoes may be the result of the House and Senate not agreeing on a property tax relief bill. The governor supports the House version that reduces school district taxes with more state money. For more news, go online to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code AUTO for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code AUTO for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code AUTO for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
I'm Sean Burnett with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This update is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click hillcosupply.com. Texas A&M volleyball head coach Jamie Morrison was named the head coach of the 2023 USA Women's Volleyball U19 World Championships team. His latest experience came in the summer of 2022, where he led the U.S. Women's U19 team to a gold medal showing at the Pan American Cup, which earned the team's berth in the 2023 FIVB World Championships. The World Championships will take place August 1st through 11th in Hungary and Croatia. Morrison will be at the helm of USA Volleyball's junior national team for the third time and is regarded for the team's high performance under his direction and his connection with the players. The number 19 Texas A&M men's tennis team selected to travel to Athens, Georgia for the 2024 ITA kickoff weekend. The Aggies will visit the home of the number 7 Bulldogs and are joined by number 26 Auburn and number 74 Louisiana January 28th through 29th. The men's NCAA College World Series is finally here and will begin today in Omaha. Game 1 will be Oral Roberts versus TCU at 1 o'clock. Game 2 will be number 7 Virginia versus number 2 Florida with a 6 o'clock first pitch. Tomorrow begins with Stanford and Wake Forest at 1, followed by Tennessee and LSU at 6. And that's your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Sean Burnett.
You can hear Houston Astros baseball all season, all postseason long on The Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM, and select games on Gospel 97.3 FM. Astros baseball brought to you by Kelly Burt Dozer. All season long, Houston Astros baseball on The Zone and select games on Gospel 97.3 FM. Astros baseball brought to you by Kelly Burt Dozer.
Walk through Copsy doors and roam all over Coliseum.
And we are back. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. My Adidas brought to you by Run DMC. Kevin, you thought it was the Beastie Boys?
No, I didn't. I knew it wasn't the Beastie Boys, but I said it had a little bit of the Beastie Boys like vibe to it with the beat in the back and stuff like that.
Yep.
Am I wrong?
It's that era. So, and by the way, nicely played by the folks there at the mothership, Emily and Sean out there, because we were talking about Jordan, whose brand Nike, and that song was called My Adidas, which if you watch the movie Air, it kind of talks a little bit about how Adidas was the front runner in getting Michael, but he ended up going to Nike because they sold him on the vision. And here we are with Air Jordan. Let's go to the News and Social Center. We're still working on trying to get Ray Mickens on the program. We'll try him on the phone here in a moment if we don't get him here on Zoom. But before that, let's go to the A&B text line.
Hey, it's the A&B text line, girl. Sorry. I'm just going to not say anything anymore. David Edmonds said, Brandon Stewart was a victim of offensive personnel. The kid was a slinger. He transferred from Tennessee, where a lot of people reported he was playing better than Manning, but Manning had the name. He came to a running offense and had no receivers or passing scheme. He's the last QB to win us a conference championship.
Props to Brandon Stewart. I can't argue. Usually I want to argue with David Edmonds, but that was a good one. Good stuff. What else?
Yeah, there's a lot of arguing that goes on there. Dan, class of 76. This kind of seems like almost a backhanded compliment. Anyways, if you were going to do 5 great plays by Evan Stewart, you still need to add the last play against Alabama where he cut off his route 2 steps early, turned to his left instead of his right, and came back out of the end zone and did not catch the ball.
Yep. It looks like we do have Ray Mickens there on the hotline, so let's let the folks at Brian Broadcasting let him hang up because I see him talking to him, and we'll chit-chat a little bit with him here on the program, make sure his mic is not muted, and we'll talk to him here in a moment. By the way, Ray Mickens yesterday ordered his Aggie ring. He took a picture of it on Twitter and posted it out there, so we, as a group's like, we got to get Ray on the program. Ray, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing wonderful. So, hey, I got to brag about you. Back in the day, so by the way, I read you won the Madden championship back in like 20-something. Like, yeah, am I right?
I did. I was pretty good. Yeah.
Well, I remember you on the game as a player. You were really good on that game back in the day. So I gotta give props where props are due.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they were pretty accurate with my ratings.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's talk a little bit about the whole experience ordering your ring. Kind of take us back because you had this whole career in New York that you were talking about that made it a little bit difficult to order your Aggie ring, but you did finish in 96?
I did. I graduated in 96 in business accounting. Actually, the story behind that is I had my last semester, that January, you were supposed to order your rings. And at that time, so I didn't take any money from agents back then. I said I wasn't going to take no money before the draft. So I was relying on my Pell Grant. I got $800 every semester for a Pell Grant. And I didn't know this. Unbeknownst to me, the last semester, they take out money for parking tickets. And I didn't know. So I showed up to get my Pell Grant, and it was like $15. And I was mad. I was like, what happened? And they were like, well, we took out money for the parking tickets you've had over the years since you're going to be graduating. So I was like, oh, okay. So I was stuck, and I couldn't order my ring. So I didn't order my ring. And then, life got busy, and I wasn't able to get back in town to order my ring. So I took my youngest son, to this Jimbo Fisher football camp. And when I dropped him off, it was still about, 8 o'clock, 8:30. I was like, man, let me just swing by here and see if I could make this happen. And then, wow, they helped me out. They were like, listen, you came at the right time. There's no wait. And I was like, wow. So it was kind of emotional at the time to get it all done. So that's the story behind that.
Was it one of those things that you're like, I'm going to do it, and just, you got kids, you're busy, it just gets hard?
Yeah. The crazy thing is, no matter everywhere I go, business meetings, networking events, I see Aggies, class of 86, class of 79, and they got the ring. And every time I go to one, there's like, where's your ring at? And I have to tell them this sad story, man, that I got to get to order it. I didn't get a chance to order it. So it was just an accumulation of every time I went to an event and somebody asking me about it, knowing that I graduated already. I just kept on saying to myself, I got to get it. I got to get my ring. So, it was just, over 17 plus years, I was just like, I got to get it. So.
Well, we're excited for you. It's awesome. Can take us a little back. How did you end up at Texas A&M? Tell us your journey here.
Yeah, so I'm a military kid. I was born in Germany. My family's from Philadelphia, and my dad got stationed in Fort Bliss, Texas. That's in El Paso, Texas. So I had two older brothers. Grew up in El Paso, Texas, and I was pretty good. I was an all-state running back. I was a good running back in the day, but I always wanted to play defense. Most of my offers were coming from at running back, and these schools didn't really visit me, or else I would have told them, hey, I want to play defensive back when I go to college. So, Arizona State, UCLA, most of the Southwest Conference, the Big Eight, and the Pac-10 at the time wanted me at running back, including Rice. Texas was the only team that came and recruited me at defensive back. And I was very, very, I was about ready to commit to Texas, actually. And I asked them if I could take my visits. And they were like, well, if you commit to us, you can't take no visits. And I wanted to take visits. So I ended up putting it off. Didn't commit to Texas. Went through the recruiting process, and then I started getting offers for defensive back. Oklahoma offered me for defensive back. A few other schools offered me for defensive back. And then out of the blue, I get this call, from Texas A&M. And the coach said, hey, can you want to come down here on a visit? And I was like, okay. I didn't know too much about Texas A&M, except for one of my friend's big brothers went to A&M and played football there. His name was Steve Bullitt and Jerry Bullitt. And I used to, and their parents were military as well. So I used to go to their house, see all these, cotton ball pictures on their walls. Didn't think nothing of it. So I said, yeah, I'll go down to Texas A&M for a visit. So I went down to Texas A&M for a visit, and I was in Kane Hall, and I never forget all of it was the wrecking crew. It was just a spirit, man. I was a defensive guy, and my host said, hey, we're going to have the best defense in the country next year. He said, that guy right there, Quinn Coriat, he was on the practice squad. Patrick Bates transfers from UCLA. He was on the practice. They were both on the scout team all last year. We had the best scout team in the country, is what he was telling me. We were laughing about that. And I was very intrigued about all of these great players at Texas A&M on the defensive side. So RC Slocum brings me in on Sunday. So Sundays on your official recruiting trip is when you meet with the head coach before you leave, and you either commit or he offers you. I didn't have an offer at the time. So when I got there Sunday morning before I took my flight back, I was waiting for an offer. I was like, man, I want to come here, and RC was like, well, did you like your visit? And I was like, man, I said, yeah, coach, I loved it. And he was just like, all right, well, we'll be watching you, and I left disappointed, man. I didn't get an offer, actually. And that was the only the school I went to that I didn't even have an offer. And I took that visit. And so I get back home. I was going to go to Arizona State because I'd never been to Phoenix. I wanted to have some fun, go to Phoenix, and then go to Oklahoma after that. And that would have been my last one. And he called me on that Wednesday of that week. He called me on Wednesday before I was going to Phoenix. And he said, do you want to be an Aggie? And I was just like, yes, sir. And I said, but I got a visit. I was supposed to go to Arizona State this weekend. And then I got to Oklahoma. And he was like, man, take your visits. I believe you're a man of your word. That's what he said. And that locked me in. So I was just like, man, I'm going to A&M regardless. And so I did take that Arizona State visit, had a lot of fun. And then after that, I shut it down. I didn't go to Oklahoma. I didn't go back to Texas. But then, so when I committed and hit the waiver wire that I was going to A&M, I get pulled out of class by the principal. They want me to go to the principal's office. So I go to the principal's office. I said, no, I didn't do nothing wrong. And Bob Boyd from Texas was there. He had his cowboy hat on, and he came in. He was just like, "Listen, we saw that you committed to A&M. We're going to ask you to reconsider. I know you wanted to come to Texas. Offers back on the table. We're going to ask you to reconsider." And I said, "Thanks, but no thanks." And that was pretty much it.
That's a wonderful story, first. And second, I kind of want you to help encapsulate the hate that you all had for Texas. I don't know if hate's the right word, but I think it is, because these young bucks are about to find out this next year about this rivalry.
Yeah, man, I can't wait. I think that the fact is that it's a lot of bad blood just from the standpoint of the recruitment. It starts in recruitment. It starts growing up. Unfortunately, this era of athletes didn't get a chance to experience those Thanksgiving night games, and I think that it's going to take a while for it to truly hit the younger guys and the players that are actually playing in the game. But for us, we lived through it. We saw it growing up, and we played through it. It's going to mean a whole lot to us. So, all we can do is give and share with the current guys our experiences, beat the hell out of TU. They haven't heard that, and I don't know how long. And, so it's going to take some getting used to for them, but I think they're going to get it really quick when they see, our former member base there, and the disdain that we have for Texas. So I think it's going to be a great rivalry again. I think hopefully it's on Thanksgiving night. I don't know what day it's going to be on, but that was special and unique in itself.
So I was preparing for this interview. I was reminded you were not only successful here at Texas A&M, at Kyle Field, one loss. I think it was 24-1. I mean, buddy, I remember those days. I was here. I loved it. Take me back into how you guys were able to be so dominant on defense.
We never lost. I mean, Kyle Field, man, the 12th man, really, that was one of our biggest advantages. Was the 12th man. When we came out of the tunnel from the locker room, it's almost you couldn't hear yourself. You couldn't hear your teammate next to you. It was actually crazy because we didn't really have that many calls on defense, man. And I'd say that to this day, that you don't have to have 1,000 calls to have a great defense. You just have to play with passion. Whatever the call is, play with passion. We couldn't hear each other to make a check. The crowd was, the white towels, the crowd was so loud and energetic that we just play ball the hardest we can. And that was pretty much our secret sauce, was the 12th man, really.
You mentioned Q earlier, and I keep in touch with Q quite a bit. When the way he had to wait for his turn, and a lot of you all had to wait to really get that extra playing time. It's a different world of college football today because of the transfer portal. But I really think that, legends are made through that journey. Talk a little bit about how it's changed and how many of you all learn by watching the greats do their thing.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I gave you that story about my recruiting process where there were a lot of great players already here. Kevin Smith, Derek Frazier. There were a lot of great players here, and I wanted to be amongst them to learn from them. And I didn't think anything of that. That's not a slight on me. I think that was a positive thing. Nowadays, I work with kids now, and the first thing they look at when they're getting recruited by a school is the depth chart. They look at, am I going to be able to play as a freshman? And that's really the biggest mentality change from kids today, from when I was there, is just the mentality of, I need to play as a freshman, not I need to develop. And I think that these players that are here are going to help me develop. Yeah, the coaches help you develop, but really it's the players that are mentors to you, that are there. So I learned from Kevin Smith. I learned from Derek Frazier, then Aaron Glenn came, and that was great because I used to compete against him in practice, but learn a lot from him. And that made me who I am. All the guys that surrounded me, the mentality of Patrick Bates and Quentin Coriat, those guys helped me. Sam Adams, my roommate. It was all a focus thing. So nowadays it's a little different from a standpoint of, hey, I gotta play now. And actually, kids are more developed these days. I got to give that credit and make sure that I say that there's so many more tools for these kids to learn, from 7-on-7 to just the huddle and watching videos online that we didn't have back then. You're able to learn things and learn and go over new things on the practice fields, things like that.
Ray Mickens with us here on TexAgs Radio. Ray, let's talk a little bit about AG. You mentioned him a moment ago. How cool is it to see him doing his thing there as a coordinator and just be one of those hot names to be a head coach soon?
Yeah, Aaron Glenn, AG, man, that's my guy. I mean, I'm super excited for him. He's been grinding for a long time. A lot of people don't see the grind of him being a scout, having to drive from Houston all the way up to Iowa to a small Division II school to study a potential draft pick. He put in a lot of work when he wanted to go through this process to be a head coach one day. And right now, we all see him as a defensive coordinator, but I just see all of the roots behind that tree. And he did put in a lot of work, and he's always been a smart guy. When we played with Belichick, he demanded guys be smart. And he always challenged us and quizzed us. And I remember, we played together for 6 years up there. And it was like, a lot of guys that were really talented really couldn't grasp it mentally. And Aaron Glenn was one of those guys that understood it mentally and could do it physically.
Last thing for you, update us on your family, how the kids doing, and just tell us where they're at.
Yeah, so my oldest daughter played college basketball at Boston College and then transferred to SMU. That was back, and she graduated from high school in 2013. That was I got 4 kids. That was my oldest kid. That's the one that really wanted to come to A&M back in with Gary Blair, but they had such an awesome team. I don't know if you remember back then.
Oh, yeah.
They were loaded. And so she didn't get a chance to come here, but she had a good career, went to SMU and finished there. Then my son, which is 21 right now, RJ Mickens, he is at Clemson.
Right.
And he is a safety at Clemson. He, was getting offers early in the process. He was an early bloomer. He got offers back in the 9th grade. And by the time A&M offered him, he was kind of already along, had a lot of relationships in the process, far down the process. So I was hoping that he had came here, but he's had a great career at Clemson. He led the team in interceptions, 3rd in the ACC. And I've been going to watch him. That's been a lot of fun. ACC games are different than SEC games, though. I got to tell you, man, it's not the same. But it's still good football. Clemson plays good football, and there's a few good football teams over there. I'm not gonna say all of them, but there's a few of them that are good. And then I got a son, Preston. He's going to be a senior at South Lake Carroll this year coming up. I took him to the football camp. He's a fun kid. He's just a great mannered kid. He wanted to have some fun. So I'm hoping that he becomes a student at A&M. Hopefully one of my kids will be a student there. And then my youngest, which I think is the best athlete of all of them in my family, she's 13, and she plays soccer, and she plays for FC Dallas here in the Dallas area. And she traveled. Actually, we're going to San Diego next week for a big tournament. But she's been going to different little college camps here and there, and she's met Coach G before down at A&M, and I'm going to get her down there when she gets into high school. Start going down to some of those camps. So those are my 4 kids.
Hey, totally random. Was she in Houston playing in a tournament like a week or 2 ago?
Correct.
Yeah,
yes.
I think she played my daughter. There you go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
What team is it?
She plays for Challenge.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
FC Dallas, they're pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, she's developing. I think from a standpoint of having a good team, it's really if it's a good development tool for your daughter, I think that's great. I think the team that she's on is a good development tool. I can see her getting better, and the role that she has on the team is a role that she has to compete to earn time. So, and that's what I wanted. I want that for all my kids, compete and earn it. So, she's doing well.
I'll be in Dallas for a tournament this weekend, man. So maybe I'll bump into you at some point.
Awesome, man. Yeah, just call me up.
You got it, man. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. I know we went a little long, but appreciate you. Congrats on the ring, and it was a fun conversation.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Take care.
You too. Ray Mickens there on the hotline. Awesome conversation. Appreciate his time. Let's hit a break here. We'll have an open segment before Billy joins us. Right now, though, I want to talk about Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, and online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. I was in Caldwell yesterday. Drove by, and yeah, I saw Caldwell Country Chevrolet. I didn't do a wave or anything. I think that's kind of weird, but it was after hours. But I saw the lot there, and I was like, that's where the crew does all the great work out there. That's where they have great prices, great customer service, and just an incredible experience when you're looking for a vehicle. You want to upgrade, you want to change what you're driving, that's the place you should begin your search there at CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. They change the deals every month. Every month it's a different deal out there. And they change them quite often there. And then when you go on the lot and you see all the awesome vehicles and just the great experience and get the great trade-in value, you're going to be locked in. Bought my car about a year ago, right around now, and we got ourselves a family Tahoe. It's been a great investment for us and just a great experience. And they've got complimentary pickup for all their service customers. Just a really good place to go. About a 15-minute drive, Brian and Caldwell, short conversation away. But you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell and online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. The theater company of Bryan College Station presents SpongeBob the Musical. Performances run through Sunday. Purchase tickets online at theatercompany.com/tickets. Early registration is open for the 15th annual Buffalo Stampede Race, presented by the Brazos Valley Museum of Natural History. Use code EARLYBIRD23 for 20% off. Register at brazosvalleymuseum.org. United Way of the Brazos Valley invites you to take part in its upcoming Day of Action. Help assemble 1,500 baby bundles for local newborns the morning of Wednesday, June 21st at SOS Ministries. Find more information and sign up at uwbv.org. The Adam Reuter Masonic Lodge in Wellborn is holding a pork butt fundraiser. Find the lodge on Facebook for more information. You can hear Houston Astros baseball all summer long on the Zone and select games on Gospel 97.3 FM thanks to Kelly Burtdozer. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Are you looking for investment options that potentially outpace today's high inflation environment? Concerned about recent banking failures or the volatility of the stock and crypto markets? Call Caliber to learn how you can invest in commercial real estate investments right here in Bryan College Station that support the community while producing real returns for investors. Caliber, the wealth development company, partnering with the community to build a better tomorrow. 979-977-2950. That's 979-977-2950. The investments and services offered may not be suitable for all investors. You should seek advice from an independent financial advisor.
There's only one best, and we want you to decide. Voting is now open for the 23rd annual Best of the Brazos Valley. Tell us who you like the best in dining, shopping, wellness, services, and everything that makes this the best place to live. Vote online now at bestofthebrazos.com. Thanks in part to our sponsors, CC Creations, The Warehouse, and Maroon U, Schulte Roofing, Aggieland Apartment Finders, and Stewart Elms Orthodontics. Voting closes July 5th. You get one vote, so make it count at bestofthebrazos.com.
As sure as Texas weather will change, storm chasers will roll into town when the Brazos Valley experiences a hail or severe storm, bringing out-of-town crews with them. Don't get hit twice. Aggieland Roofing is a local, licensed, and insured company, one that will be here to handle any warranty issues, one that is part of your community. We live here, and we are here to stay. Aggieland Roofing is a member of the BCS Chamber of Commerce and the official roofer of Texas A&M Athletics. Remember, shop local, shop licensed. Call me, the Roofer Girl.
This is Larry Shelby, previously on the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Now, Matt in San Antonio, I'm not going to say nothing bad about him. I like the guy, Paul, but it's like every day he calls in now, it's just like a barking chihuahua, like a mad barking chihuahua. Happy weekend, Paul.
Thank you very, very much.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on the Zone.
Back in the
I was a teenager, before I had status and before I had a pager. You can find the abstract, listening to hip hop. My pops used to say it reminded him of bebop. I said, well, daddy, don't you know that things go in cycles? Way the Bobby Brown is just amping like Michael. It's all expected, things are for the looking. If you got the money, quest is for the booking. Come on, everybody, let's get with the fly mode. Still got room on the truckload of black gold. Listen to the rhyme.
No, they're not called a tripod.
I thought you said the Tripod Boys. I was like, what are you talking about?
The Tripod Boys there in the background. It is called a tribe.
A tribe.
Called Quest.
Quest. Okay.
The Tripod Boys.
I think I like the Tripod Boys better. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is now time for Around Aggieland, presented by Normandy State Bank. Normandy State Bank, rock solid banking. The website, normandystatebank.com. Hello, Kate Nagley.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I feel like it's been a minute since Monday just feels forever ago.
I wasn't here Monday, so yeah.
Yeah.
But I did hang out with your pops and your mom.
You did.
And your sister.
I know. I ordered, just like Ray Mickens, I ordered my Aggie Bling on, Wednesday? So fam got to come in town. It was it's a cool little experience. You go on the association. They have all the rings laid out and everything. You just feel really a part of the Aggie family.
I bragged about your family to my wife. I was like, hey, we might have friends because everybody here is either 80 or 20, and your parents are in the same age range. So I'll have some
They're
friends.
a little older.
Not that much. They're hip and cool.
Yeah, they are hip and cool. They're definitely they're fun to people to bring around.
I'm no fun Nuño though, so I probably couldn't hang.
I know. I was like, you and my dad though. My dad may be able to bring it out of you a little bit. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, he'll just have to join me in the gym and MMA classes and all that stuff.
He would do that, I think.
You think?
I think.
What do we got going on in Around Aggieland?
Yeah, so all those sports are over. We kind of still have a lot of news going on.
You did that like a Valley girl. All the sports are over.
Okay.
And my goodness.
Sorry, I'm gonna clean it up.
I liked it. Do more Valley girl.
I don't.
Did you hear it, Kevin?
Yes, I heard it from because the very first thing she said was, "Hey," and y'all always make so much fun of me whenever I do that. But
I feel like there's a little issue going on here.
Right? He's hostile.
The girls are fighting.
Well, some of the language earlier.
Anyways, so we do have some different news. Texas A&M secured class of 2024 Hun School of Princeton quarterback Miles O'Neal as he announced his commitment on when was that, Tuesday or Wednesday, I believe, and then he will be the second quarterback to join the 2024 class along Oak Grove's A.J. Maddox, so good news there. And then big news this week, the 2024 schedule was released. So just to go over some of those opponents at home, we have LSU, Texas, had to do it, Missouri, Notre Dame, Bowling Green, New Mexico State, and McNeese.
Did you say
Broniger's
New Mexico Snake?
State.
I think I heard New Mexico
Did
Snake.
I not pronounce it? New Mexico State and
I'm
McNeese, Ryan Broniger alum from McNeese, and I'm sure he's very excited for that game. And then away, we have Auburn, Florida, Mississippi State, South Carolina, and then Arkansas at Arlington. I believe that will be the last year there, and maybe we'll get to go to that together again.
Let's hope so. and if it's a good game, I'm fun to be around. And if it's a
Let's
bad
hope
game,
it is.
not so much fun.
KJ Jefferson coming back though. I mean this year, but hopefully in 2024 he'll be gone.
But I was reminded he still has a lot more eligibility. He could be quarterback there forever.
Does he really?
You might have grandkids, and he might still be playing.
KJ Jefferson fumbles in the end zone, and Devontae Richardson takes it back. Let's just keep that going over and over. Some men's golf news. Sam Bennett is playing in the U.S. Open this weekend as he shot 3 under par yesterday and ties him for 7th. Kennedy was naming some of those names that he was tied with, but couldn't remember a lot of them. But
it wasn't that I couldn't remember them. I didn't know them.
Just Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, that's the only one I know.
Okay. At least you know that.
There's a lot of drama today.
He will tee off today at 10:02 a.m. So best of luck to Sam. Some news on the transfer portal front. Aggie baseball picked up 2 transfers this week. In Ted Burton, he is an infielder from Michigan. He has a .301 batting average, 13 home runs, 45 RBI, and .979 OPS last season, and he was the All Big Ten third team at second base, so great addition there. And then Zane, excuse me if I pronounce his name wrong, we will get used to this. Zane Badmaev, looks like. He is a right-handed pitcher. Bad, and then Maev.
Badmav.
Badmave. I'm sure we'll get used
Bronny
to
will
saying
get it to us,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right-handed pitcher from Towson State. He has 22 appearances, 32 innings pitched, a 2.81 ERA, 46 Ks, and 7 walked batters last season. So he's coming off his best year. And we got a right-hander. We need some right-handed love around here. Softball also grabbed an addition out of the portal as they added Kylie Griffin. She spent her freshman season at the University of Louisiana and is an infielder that played 42 games and made 18 starts for the Raging Cajuns. She hit .226, had 12 hits, 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 11 runs, 5 RBI, and 4 stolen bases. So great addition for Trisha Ford and company. Along the golf front, again, golfer Jenny Park earned Golf Week All-America honors. She was a standout this season and led the squad with a 72.03 stroke average this past season. That is good enough for 5th best in program history. So absolute, just killing it on the golf front. Jamie Morrison, some volleyball news, as we had him on this week. He was great, and Kennedy's favorite coach.
Yeah, she was so into that interview.
She had to not.
Sorry for being interested in something that I do, guys. Jeez.
My goodness, what is wrong today?
know.
Y'all are pissing me off.
This aggression
You know,
today
that's
is.
an FCC violation.
Whew, I was just trying to hype up her sport over there. So, head coach Jamie Morrison was named the head coach of the 2023 USA Women's Volleyball U19 World Championships team. So he's just hopefully gonna breed some championships over there, and that is his 3rd time he will be at the helm of a junior national team. So great stuff over there. And then on the women's basketball front, former standout Kayla Wells was selected to compete for the USA basketball at the 2023 FIBA 3x3 Women's Series that was announced on Thursday. So a lot of good stuff going around, even though we don't have school, we don't have any A&M athletics currently going on, but
I know we had a few weeks where not that much other than baseball and softball going on, and you had a lot of updates.
I know. I was looking around and I was like, I got to get like the details and stuff because we got. I mean, other than just me ordering my ring, that was my week.
That was your week?
Yep.
Well, very good job. Thank you very much.
Of course.
When we come back on TexAgs Radio, I believe we'll have Billy Lucci in studio, and we'll get into some recruiting talk. We'll get into, actually got some cool things to get into with him. I want to go through the most iconic football players, college football players, since the 2000s. So we'll get Billy's thoughts on that. Peter Burns will join us around 10:20. Aaron Torres at 10:35. So a lot of good stuff the rest of the way. But right now we're talking about Heritage Films, and my buddy Chance is the one who runs that place, Chance McClain. Call him up. I'll give you his number. He'll probably answer it, 713-893-8341, and he'll chat with you about life, politics, sports, movies, whatever, and his vision for a documentary for your family. He's so good at doing these stories. I mentioned that I watched the Schwarzenegger documentary, and it's really good. I've watched 2/3 of it. But he does that kind of documentary. Like what I'm watching there, that's the kind of stuff he does there with Heritage Films. And it's just a gift for not only your family, but your future family, right? The generations that come after, they can see their story told on the big screen. And it's done first class. 8 to 10 weeks to finish it, but it's going to be one of those that you're going to watch it together. Probably get a little emotional. He can do a family gathering, family business, family ranch, your kids. Like, he can do so many different things with Heritage Films. You should certainly check it out. It is yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341. It's Heritage Films.
We are going. Are you ready? The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM, where it's not how good you are, but how bad you want it.
It's time. Oh, here we go.
Let's go!
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Gulf States Toyota, Hargrove Insurance, and Twin Peaks. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Does your bank know your first name? At Normandy State Bank, they do. Normandy State Bank is locally owned, controlled, and operated. This local personal touch means banking decisions are made on site the same day you request it. Normandy State makes banking easy. They're open Saturdays, offer state-of-the-art online banking, bill paying, fund transfers, check and statement images. Normandy State, where customer service is their priority. Normandy State Bank, rock solid. Member FDIC.
Here at Total Wine & More, our amazing selection means you'll always
love what you find.
Dad, what are you doing here?
Just getting a sneak peek at my Father's Day gifts.
Well, I was thinking of getting you this Barrel Select bourbon.
That's a really nice bottle.
And Total Wine has it at the totally lowest price.
Wow, you always were my favorite.
Thanks, Dad.
Talking to the bourbon, sweetie.
Find what you love what you find. Like the perfect gift for Dad at the perfect price. Only at Total Wine & More.
And drink responsibly. B21.
With Father's Day coming up, I'll tell you what Dad really wants. No question about it. Get Dad a gift certificate or a custom grill master box of some great Field of Family steaks. Only the best cuts of beef from a local ranch right here in the Brazos Valley. Unlike other beef companies, at Field of Family, you know exactly how and where your beef was raised. Take it from me. I've been there and seen the product firsthand. Shop FieldToFamily.com and treat Dad special this year. That's shop FieldToFamily.com for premium beef quality and flavor.
If you own construction equipment, you need preventative maintenance, and WPI has you covered with our new on-site service tech. This is Timothy Cornrow, your local branch manager at WPI. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI has the hoses, filters, fluids, and parts you need to keep your equipment running at maximum performance. For the best price in town on preventative maintenance and field service for every brand of construction equipment, put your trust in WPI. Highway 21 East at Marino Road, or click WPI.com.
Sign up now for the Zone All Access newsletter, brought to you by Caliber, the wealth development company. Want to know what guests are coming on the show and when? Want to know the contests, the events, and what's going on with the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM? Sign up for the Zone All Access newsletter at zone1150.com. You can call Caliber to learn how you can invest in commercial real estate. Call 979-977-2950. That's 979-977-2950. Or visit calibercode.com/Texas.
Sometimes I feel I've got to run away. I've got to.
And we're back. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Checking out the A&B text line. A lot of love for Ray Mickens. Ross from East Texas. Interviews with former players like Ray Mickens are really awesome. David Edmond. Love the Mickens interview. That was good times. And an 806. Great interview with Ray. He was awesome. Really appreciate that conversation. Let's go to the hotline and talk to Billy Lucci. Billy, good morning, buddy.
Yoda, what's up?
How are you?
I'm good. I had a cooking incident this morning, so heading over to see you now. Might be a little closer to our normal time. But I made I went Nuño, and I was making some kind of scramble for the week, is what I've been told. They were like, do this, and it was turkey sausage, like breakfast sausage, a potato, two potatoes, a whole onion, and like a big green pepper. I probably next time would do 2 peppers. It doesn't quite have enough pepper. So it's like a scramble. But what you don't factor in is how long it takes to cook potatoes in the skillet. And what you don't factor in is how long it takes to cut up, wash, clean, cut up a potato, a pepper, and an onion. So it just was very time consuming, and I'm like, I'm barely going to be able to eat it. And then I was told, oh, no, you have to let it sit for 45 minutes or so, an hour, or the potatoes will get soggy if you put them right in the Tupperware. So I'm riding right now with my hand over, my arm resting over this week's worth of scramble. But you also cook an egg in, but I don't have time. So I can't cover it until I get to the office and put it in the office fridge.
How many eggs were involved in
So
this?
I'm going to be like you. How what?
How many eggs did you use?
None. It's just however many you want to use a day.
Oh, I see.
Like you use it for the breakfast the next couple days. Looks like I've got about probably 3 days more worth. And then if you could eat it just like that, the meat, potatoes, and onion and pepper, or you can do it with an egg or two, whatever, egg whites or over easy or scrambled. I don't know, whatever tickles your tulip.
Hey, I read something that caught my attention this morning, not to do with sports, but it's the off season, so we'll get into it. I know you're.
By the way, I heard you judging. I heard your judging tone with that. How many eggs? Don't think that got by my radar.
There was no judging there at all. I just was curious, like how many for the week. But
It's like I don't know if there's enough protein. I don't know if there's enough protein in there.
1 gram
I'm not
per
sure how I
pound
feel.
of
I'm
body
not
weight.
sure how I feel about the potatoes. I'm not sure how I feel about the potatoes.
I like potatoes. I'd say you need to have at least
Sometimes I
190
sound
grams of protein a day, buddy. That's what I'm saying.
Sometimes I sound like gold member.
I'm just going to talk like this. Hey, Kevin Costner may not return at all, and definitely probably not in 2023 to Yellowstone. So they were supposed to start shooting this summer. I know there's a writer's strike, but according to his divorce proceedings, he's not expected to return at all in 2023.
Well, I don't understand. I feel like that show should be coming up pretty soon. I guess I don't know Hollywood, how long it takes to film to screen, but I would have thought they'd already be filming that. Doesn't it come out during football season?
Well, initially it was supposed to come out this summer, and then they split the season, right? Because they did the first part of the season, and then they had a little break. But then they broke. He got into some issues with Taylor Sheridan, and that's kind of delayed things. This divorce is delaying things. And now they're not even sure if he's ever going to come back. So how do they kill him off if that's the case?
Costner, nobody cares, dude. Nobody cares. Okay? The Wolf movie sucked. Waterworld sucked. Message in a Bottle sucked. The Bodyguard, you got carried by a singer, Whitney Houston. That movie wasn't any good. That was just her damn song that made it. And hell, she played herself better than Costner played a bodyguard. Like, who would really be worried about Costner as a bodyguard? And then, his good movies, they're all baseball. Okay, yeah, we get it, man. You're friends with Augie Garrido. Congratulations. Guess who went down in the Stanford Regional? Fullerton. Okay, so now I'm even more happy that A&M beat Fullerton, because they sent Costner home crying when he should have been filming Yellowstone.
I can't argue with you there, buddy. We may not ever get it again, unfortunately. They may have to kill him off if he doesn't decide to come back. So just do it and move on and bring on Matthew McConaughey.
It's just a shame we couldn't see how he got killed off. It's just going to be some kind of bomb.
I hope not. I hope they finish it off.
Maybe they'll just have him. Maybe they'll just have him go missing.
Hey, before we hit a break here, I do want to ask you. I asked this question.
Whoa, time out. Brad Pitt style Legends of the Fall, which is basically what this whole series copies. But Brad Pitt, they have a guy that looks like Costner going off into the woods, and he gets mauled by like a bear. That'd be good.
No, I think the way he died in Joe Black, that's the way.
Okay.
Do you remember he got hit by the car?
Never saw him.
You never saw him meet Joe Black? Oh, I just ruined it for you.
No, he got hit by a car apparently.
Yeah, at the very end.
Ray Mickens. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
What do you have on the docket right now? Because I'd like to talk with Ray Mickens.
Let's talk Ray Mickens.
We got the 10 o'clock hour.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think Ray, that brings back, and I saw Reggie Brown this week when he was here, his son was offered, and then you got Ray's son. You obviously had Steve's son, Hunter, out there yesterday who had a really good showing. He's just going into his sophomore year. Got a lot of quality time with Adazio, and talked to the coaches afterwards, which is always a good sign. And to see those guys, but particularly, Ray and Reggie. And Reggie and I were talking about guys like my freshman year, before I knew, I was just a student, before I got to know these dudes, and, they became like, that was like my fraternity, like that was my group, those guys of that era. That's who I hung out with, played video games with, went out with, all days in the summer with. But just talking about those guys before that I didn't really know, my freshman year, you get to A&M, you're watching this football team, and it's like the same thing everybody that comes here experiences, especially back then when the Aggies were so good. But we're talking about guys like Eric England and Solari and Reggie and Ray and Patrick Bates, who's a friend of the show. And we talked to so many people, but those names come up and you're like, oh man, I forgot about, or I remember. You don't forget any of them really. But Ray, I just remember, I have such vivid memories in college of Ray and Aaron Glenn. This was back, and I don't think, as good as they are, I don't even think you do this anymore like they used to do, but just literally the definition of on the island and R.C. Slocum and Bob Davies' defense, where it was those two guys, and they would line up 31 and 24. I was really 23. Yeah, 24. 31 and 24. And they would line up and just, for a whole game, guys wouldn't touch the football. Like, we think Evan Stewart's good. We think Anias is good. We think, Noah Thomas is going to be good, and Moose. And these dudes were the types that wouldn't let good receivers touch a football in a game. And they've gotten much more creative on how they let you touch it. So, but these dudes were really good NFL players, too. And they were both, Ray's probably, I don't know if he's 5'9", and AG, I don't know if he's 5'10". And I just remember going down to Austin, and they had Lavelle Pinckney and Mike Adams, who at the time, Lavelle Pinckney was like, I call him like a poor man's Mike Evans. He was a massive receiver, probably bigger than Mike, back in the days when you didn't have many guys like that. He was like a poor man's Megatron. And Mike Adams was a great college receiver. And those two dudes would just one-on-one for 4 quarters. And they had a great pass rush, and the Texas quarterbacks would just be getting decapitated. But just the way they would shut down a field was just so impressive to watch. And again, they went to the NFL and had really nice careers too. Both of them actually with the Jets for the most part. So,
Billy, we got to break it right there because we're up against it.
What do you got?
Well, we got a break, and then we got like a short
you
segment.
got a commercial to go to.
Yep.
All right, bye.
All right, bye. We'll be back.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. Troop Over the Hill continues its Friday night movie series this week with Annie. Doors open to the Main Street Playhouse at 5:30. The movie starts at 6. This Friday, the Brazos Valley Astronomy Club is hosting a star party at Dr. Spearman's Observatory in Robertson County. Visit brazosvalleyastronomyclub.org for more information. Come out to a Juneteenth Freedom Day celebration this Saturday at the Carver Event Center from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Free food, fun, and activities for the whole family. The Bryan Amateur Radio Club will hold its annual ARRL Field Day exercises at Earl Graham Post 159 on Saturday, June 24th and Sunday, June 25th. The public is invited to observe and will be offered an opportunity to speak on the radio to other hams across the country. Learn more on the club's Facebook page. Sign up for the Zone All Access newsletter brought to you by Caliber, the wealth development company. Sign up now at zone1150.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
You can hear the Paul Feinbaum Show weekdays 2 to 4 here on The Zone. Presented by Polaris Fun Center. Paul Feinbaum is SEC Country. And Aggieland is SEC Country too. Join Paul weekdays 2 to 4 here on The Zone. Polaris Fun Center sells and service Polaris ATVs, Rangers, Razors, Global Electric Cars, Brutus, and the Polaris Slingshot. Polaris Fun Center, where they sell and service fun, not tractors. The voice of the SEC. And you can hear Paul Feinbaum weekdays 2 to 4 here on The Zone.
You know us through the Aggie Ring and our work helping current and former students. You also know that we work to uphold our traditions and help bring Aggies together around the world. We are the Association of Former Students, and it's our mission to provide resources, support programs, and cultivate the experiences that you know and love. But have you ever stopped and wondered why? Why does the association support Texas A&M and Texas Aggies? Why are we always here, there, and everywhere for the Aggie Network? Why do we tirelessly work to ensure that the Aggie experience is both unforgettable and life-changing? Well, you may be surprised to learn that the answer to why is as unique as your own Aggie story. That's why we created IamTheWhy.com, a place for shared Aggie stories and unique perspectives. It's where you can hear the why, see the why, and discover why Aggies like you are the why. Visit IamTheWhy.com today.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
The last 3 champions of the NBA have been homegrown, drafted by their franchise.
They showed patience waiting through the injuries and everything.
Giannis, right? Yeah. Coming in like a string bean, like growing over time. Then you think about what Steph winning last year, and then for this to pan out with Jokic and Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon and the right pieces, they've all been homegrown.
Listen in to Key, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor from 5 to 8 on The Zone.
This is not a shot at picking the song, but it's one of the worst songs ever. Every wedding, everything. I'm not mad at anybody for playing it. You should play it. It's a good song, but it's a terrible song. All at the same time. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Ross from east of East Texas. Lucha's way off base. Dances with Wolves is a classic. Bull Durham and Field of Dreams are excellent movies.
They are. Those two are.
And The Untouchables, also great. He's just cranky. That looks good.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah. Is it? That's for 3 days?
Probably.
That's a day.
2 more days for sure.
Okay.
That's heavy. Feel it.
Let me see.
I mean, it's a lot. There's a lot in there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was a pound of ground turkey sausage.
I like
Try
it.
some.
Okay, I'll do it on the air. I'll pick my
I'm
own
going to
piece.
touch it.
Oh. For those on the radio,
There you go.
he just handed me food. This is great.
I don't know if I got any onion in there. Watch it.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Not bad, huh?
Yeah. I don't like that you touched it, to be honest with you. But
I know. It just went right down your mouth, though. You didn't, I mean, that your stomach stuff kills that.
Yeah.
I think.
Very good.
What's up?
We have like a minute left in a minute and a
Oh,
half left in a segment.
we got coming back. Anyway, those 2 guys shut it down. Wrecking Crew. And Reggie and I talked. I think what I'd like to do, you interviewed Ray. I know Dat's coming in town. I've been in communication with him. I want to start just kind of a Wrecking Crew series.
Yeah.
And just interview like those guys from like the 80s through the mid to late 90s. And just that era, that period of time. Everybody worries about like, when can we call them the Red? I don't know. I don't know if A&M's defense will get to that point. I think they have games where they do it. I think the game has changed a lot, and I think there's about 2 or 3 defenses in college football. Georgia, Alabama, pretty much it that you would sit there and go, man, that's Wrecking Crew defense.
Drop it there. We'll come back with some football stuff next on TexAgs Radio.
Each week on the Louis Bellina Show, we go in the pit with barbecue pit master Bryce Jones. In the Pit, brought to you by Dixie Tire Company. Need a certain brand of custom wheels, auto accessories, truck lift kits? You need a flat tire repaired, tire and wheel rotation, or more? It's Dixie Tire Company. Sure, we talk a little barbecue, but we talk maroon and white, Astros, and more. It's In the Pit each week on the Louis Bellina Show with barbecue pit master Bryce Jones.
As a veteran of the United States military, I can finally get the opportunity to enjoy special events, things that we couldn't afford, thanks to VetTix.
Every empty seat at a concert, a game, or a play is a missed opportunity to say thanks to a veteran and service member. We can give our veterans a special event where they too can create their own cherished memories. Visit vettix.org. Find out how you can make a difference in a veteran's life.
Want to listen online? Not sure of the prize rules? Would you like to learn more about your favorite host? Go now to Zone1150.com. Zone1150.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan. Aggieland's home for sports.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. The city of College Station is in the process of acquiring property to build a roundabout to replace a four-way stop at Holloman West and Jones Butler Road. The $1 million project was part of a city council update Monday night by Capital Projects Director Jennifer Kane.
And so that'll include the roundabout design and construction and new sidewalk, pedestrian shared use paths there, and also ADA ramps. We look probably to start construction in the fall of next year.
Kane told the council that there are 94 active capital improvement projects in College Station. A list with the status of each one is online at blog.cstx.gov. Last February, the Bryan City Council agreed with Mayor Bobby Gutierrez to increase attendance requirements for members of some appointed city bodies. During Tuesday's meeting, a member of Bryan's Housing Authority Board was replaced after attending 25% of meetings over a 6-month period. That's after the mayor raised the minimum to 80%. The replacement was one of 2 appointments made to the Housing Board on Tuesday. Texas A&M gets a record-matching $5 million gift for a faculty position, which is also the largest endowed chair in the history of the Mays Business School. The A&M Foundation says the gift comes from Adam Sin, Aggie class of 2000. The foundation says Sin, who owns a commodity trading company, has contributed more than $51 million to the university. Sunday is the last day that Governor Abbott can sign or veto legislation from the regular session. Yet to be decided are about 240 Senate bills and about 100 House bills.
I've already looked at all the bills that I will agree to sign so far. And with each passing day, there'll be more vetoed that simply are not going to make it to the finish line.
Abbott told reporters more vetoes may be the result of the House and Senate not agreeing on a property tax relief bill. The governor supports the House version that reduces school district taxes with more state money. For more news, go online to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Hi, this is Kelly Adams with Girard Construction, custom home builders for the Brazos Valley since 2002. Our business was founded on providing a quality product with excellent customer service. We believe our best source of business is our satisfied clients. We want you to be happy. That's why we're hands-on in each project. We are on-site and available to you when you have questions. At Girard Construction, we don't just build homes, we build relationships. Let's build your dream home together. Visit us at girard-construction.com.
Are you looking for investment options that potentially outpace today's high inflation environment? Concerned about recent banking failures or the volatility of the stock and crypto markets? Call Caliber to learn how you can invest in commercial real estate investments right here in Bryan College Station that support the community while producing real returns for investors. Caliber, the wealth development company, partnering with the community to build a better tomorrow. 979-977-2950. That's 979-977-2950. The investments and services offered may not be suitable for all investors. You should seek advice from an independent financial advisor.
I'm Sean Burnett with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This update is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click hillcosupply.com. Texas A&M volleyball head coach Jamie Morrison was named the head coach of the 2023 USA Women's Volleyball U19 World Championships team. His latest experience came in the summer of 2022, where he led the U.S. Women's U19 team to a gold medal showing at the Pan American Cup, which earned the team's berth in the 2023 FIVB World Championships. The World Championships will take place August 1st through 11th in Hungary and Croatia. Morrison will be at the helm of USA Volleyball's junior national team for the 3rd time and is regarded for the team's high performance under his direction and his connection with the players. The number 19 Texas A&M men's tennis team selected to travel to Athens, Georgia for the 2024 ITA kickoff weekend. The Aggies will visit the home of the number 7 Bulldogs and are joined by number 26 Auburn and number 74 Louisiana January 28th through 29th. The men's NCAA College World Series is finally here and will begin today in Omaha. Game 1 will be Oral Roberts versus TCU at 1 o'clock. Game 2 will be number 7 Virginia versus number 2 Florida with a 6 o'clock first pitch. Tomorrow begins with Stanford and Wake Forest at 1, followed by Tennessee and LSU at 6. And that's your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Sean Burnett.
Hi, popular sports talk host Chip Howard asking you to consider a job in radio. What could be more fun? Getting me coffee, picking up my dry cleaning. You got to start somewhere, right? But seriously, The Zone needs an assistant show producer and board operator. Learn from the best, yours truly, and jumpstart your broadcasting career. Who knows? You may be the next Harry Doyle. But hurry, this offer won't last. Apply now at zone1150.com. That's zone1150.com.
Another strong round there. Hey, it's TexAgs Radio. I know, that's why I was confused by it. Welcome back into the program. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Got Billy, his breakfast, what do we call it?
Oh, is this a guest now?
Yeah, breakfast medley.
Ask them what they
Your thoughts on Aggie football in the month of September. And we'll go to the News and Social Center where Kennedy Cavan's got a very sweet text message to Billy Lucci.
Probably one of the nicest. Hipster from Texas.
From Quell Valley.
From Quell Valley, said, Billy, you are a grown-ass man. You are just learning how to cook, ? I'm upset with a fellow Quell Valley resident. What do you have to say about that?
Grown-ass man just learned to cook for... Well, because you're from Quell Valley, I won't refer to you as dipster instead of hipster. We will continue to call you hipster, but your comment was dippy. Because if you don't think I know how to cook... I'm not saying I'm a certified chef, but I can cook pretty good. And I've taken recipes. Instead of being critical and making your funny little comment, you could have offered me a recipe and said, oh, you should try this. Because one of our great listeners did that one time with his mom or grandmother's homemade enchiladas.
They were great.
And they were terrific. And I can make cheese enchiladas that would put any Mexican restaurant outside of Lopez to shame. And I mean to shame. And there are some great Mexican restaurants, and I love their enchiladas. But that's the one thing I always test at a new Mexican place. Even if I get fajitas or whatever, I get one a la carte cheese enchilada. Mine, I would put up against almost anyone because of the recipe from a subscriber, not named Hipster. So, yes, I can cook. I cooked. Do
you have an air fryer?
No, yeah, I do, but I don't use it because I can cook.
Okay.
I don't need to take the easy way out. The other day, what I make? I made some fish fix. Still a wonderful product if any of you want it.
Fish sticks?
Fix. F-I-X-E, David. It's delivered to your front door fresh. Chris Harrington, Melissa.
Yeah.
Gary Harrington. She doesn't use a hyphen. I'm just saying that's who I met was Melissa Gary. I met Chris Harrington. Now they're married. It's Chris and Melissa Harrington. They do a wonderful job with fish fix. I went in the fridge the other night, pulled out some fresh grouper. I made grouper, some fresh veggies, a baked potato, which I roll up in olive oil, poke with a fork, roll in some salt, cook it in the oven. It tastes amazing. It's the best baked potato you'll probably ever have. You want to almost eat the skin at the end and dip it in like ketchup. It's like you're eating French fries.
I like the skin. Count me in.
So anyway, long story short, yeah, I can cook. It's a little bit.
Just a tad bit.
I will say this. My weakness, and this is not the most Texas man kind of thing, I can't do anything special on I have a nice grill. I can't do anything special on it. It's just I'm a basic grill guy.
Basic grill. I'm pretty basic at everything, but I cook every week, 2 or 3 times a week. Yep. Hey, let's talk a little camp across the street. You know, we got our crew out there.
Make Master's deviled eggs.
I don't know.
I mean, Master's egg salad. It tastes exactly like it does at Augusta. I got the actual recipe. I'll make, there's a chicken caprese casserole that I make that's incredible.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah. I do stir fry, teriyaki stir fry. I'll do, I made Mongolian chicken that was phenomenal during the break. So anyway, keep going.
So you're like a chef?
Borderline.
Interesting.
Turkey meatloaf's incredible. The key to that is I use Whataburger spicy ketchup in the mix.
So this week, Miles O'Neill, and you also have Anthony Maddox. Talk a little bit about getting 2 quarterbacks in this group here.
Look, I don't know how that's going to affect Maddox. There's been some rumblings, but here's the deal. However it shakes out, A&M in this class is going to take 2 quarterbacks. They need to. Mm-hmm. And if it's Maddox and O'Neill, great. I mean, those are 2 guys they really want. But they're going to take 2 in this class. They need it. They took Marcel Reed. You know, they've been in this cycle of taking 1, and I think they've got it in their heads like that the goal this year is to get 2 that they really like. And they should be able to do that. I mean, that's what the elite programs do when they feel the need. They go out and get 1 and 2, and it doesn't have to be one that's rated way up here and one that's down here because it doesn't scare this guy. No, you go out and you get 2 at the best you can get. They love the 2 they've got, and if Maddox waivers or anything like that, then they'll continue the search. You know, there's a guy in Florida that's, Tevin Jackson is tearing it up at the Elite 11. He's a guy that they're still in on. I don't think the book is shut, not just for A&M, but for everybody. There's a couple quarterbacks out there that I don't think, let's just say that the door is closed for, that A&M's been recruiting for a while.
Good. Mm-hmm. I asked Obi at the top of the show.
Maybe one of them resides in Willis, Texas.
I know where you're going with that.
I mean, they're going to continue to recruit him as long as there can be communication. And that's just everybody. But Florida, I think, is going to have a hell of a time hanging on there, too. So at the end of the day, I think they're going to end up with 2 really good quarterbacks. And I love the 2 they've got right now. If that's how it sits, that's great.
Breaking down the season into months, 2023 season into months, which is the most critical month of the year? And if you need to see the schedule, we'll put it up there. But New Mexico, Miami, Louisiana Monroe, Auburn, Arkansas is your September.
There you go. That's it.
That's the most.
I don't need to hear anything else. And I know. Go ahead and give me what you think will be the runner-up. But that's it.
To me, it's the last month of the season. I think the
who
Mississippi schools.
LSU, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and the gimme game.
Yep. ACU.
By the way, that gimme game, I'm going Fort Worth, George Strait, Friday night on the floor. Great seats. Haven't seen them that close yet. Saturday, come back in the morning, 11 a.m., A&M, Abilene Christian. That night, Houston, the rescheduled Morgan Wallen concert.
Oh, my goodness.
That's going to be a nice little – I'm glad it's that game and not like, the week before, the week after. But anyway, it's September to me.
Okay.
I know November. I know what you're saying. And you know what? I'm of the opinion you have to beat both Mississippi schools this year because you have to beat Mississippi State at home in year 1 under Arnett, and you have to beat Ole Miss, not just because they beat you twice in a row, but because of Kiffin's antics, because you're not playing them next year. You don't want 2, maybe even 3 years of hearing this guy, although he probably won't be there that long. He moves around so much, wears out his welcome because he's just a miserable human being. But you need to beat him. You need to beat him. And it's not – here's the thing I want to remind, in particular, Ole Miss fans. They act like there's a level of ownership, like we dominate. And to me, that's Ole Miss football. They're content losing 5 games but bragging about beating A&M all year. That appeases them, it seems. And it's like, you guys – I think the rivalry, A&M's been in the league 11 years, and they've played, and this is how little I actually have paid attention to the total number. They missed 1 game, 2020, which, by the way, A&M would have won. They would have scored 100 on that Ole Miss defense. Was that a Durkin defense? I'm sitting here. It was Durkin. They would have scored 100. Sorry, DJ. But that year, and that A&M offense and that Ole Miss defense, I think Spiller and A-Chain would have combined for 3. I'm not exaggerating. I think they would have had 300 yards rushing. I think the series is 5-5, and it may be the same with Mississippi State. It's maybe State might actually be up 6-4, but I think it's 5-5 each of them. Somebody can fact check that. You guys aren't dominating anything. The problem that you don't realize is your program going 500 against A&M in a 10-game stretch is considered unacceptable. Not just in College Station, but people around the country go, all the money, all the facilities, all the money you're paying a head coach, you shouldn't go 5-5 against teams like that. I'm not saying that. I think that's an insult to you, and you guys are wearing it around like it's a badge of honor or something. I don't know. Call me crazy.
So September to you, though, is the most critical because of getting off to a good start after what happened last year and maybe equaling your win total from last season in the first month.
Absolutely. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Could you go 5 games in September?
You could. You got New Mexico,
Well,
Miami.
You need to.
Yep.
Okay, like I think 4-1 is the only even that's the cutoff of acceptable. And if that happens, you better make up that. That might be you go 4-1 and beat Bama at home. Like you look at that schedule, you need to go beat Mario Cristobal in Miami with 2 new coordinators. And I know Shannon Dawson's good. It worries me a little bit him spreading it out and Van Dyke, and in game 2, they could cause some problems. Throwing the ball around. You'll aim at home. Auburn. It's game. It's month 1 of the Hugh Freeze era. I know that's been a home game. In year 6 under Jimbo with the players the Aggies have and how much turnover there's been at Auburn, you need to win that game. It will not be easy. Auburn's going to get, I think, 2 noteworthy wins in the SEC in year 1 under Hugh Freeze. Don't be one of them.
Right.
And we know what Arkansas is. I think they're getting too much love as usual. Our buddies over there at not Saturday Down South. What's the your boy SEC Mike.
He was actually high on AM.
I know, but I'm saying that love affair they have with Arkansas, it's like they're leading the hype train every year on KJ Jefferson in Arkansas. A&M, look, Sam Pittman, he's lost, 2 out of 3 to the Aggies. They need to make it 3 out of 4. They're not that good. They're not going to be that good. I don't care what they did in the portal with all the guys they lost. They have a great quarterback, great running back. I don't think they're going to be. Even if they're an 8-4 team, you need to beat them in September.
You have to have one loss going into South Carolina. I'd like to be undefeated, but going into South Carolina, 1 loss.
I mean, I could say 2. I want 1. Yeah, 1 that sets you up for that breakthrough season. You could have 2 if you're playing your best ball in November. If you had 2 and you went out after that and beat South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State, to go with the fact that you'd win, 3 of those early 5 games. So by the time you played LSU, you'd have 6 what I would consider quality wins. Let's say one of those teams stinks out of Miami, Auburn, Arkansas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Mississippi. But you'd have probably 6 quality wins versus 2 losses at that point, and you'd be playing LSU. You'd have a chance for a 10th win to go to a New Year's 6. And if you didn't win it and you went 9-3, again, that's kind of my cutoff to what I would say, man, that's a successful bounce back season that can give me a lot of hope. And I know in the grand scheme of things, David, when you looked at the hire, you weren't going to go, hey, in year 6, the goal is to, they could get to 9 wins, win a bowl, and be 10-3. I know that wasn't the plan, that wasn't the goal. You've had 1 great season, and to have 1 great 1 through 6 isn't what you'd want it to be. But that would be a significant step forward. If you went from 5 wins to 10, counting a bowl, that is a massive step back in the right direction, back on the path you want to be on. There'd be no questions about Jimbo's security. That would mean Petrino did good. That would mean they had good quarterback play. And then you'd be returning a ton. I want them to do better. There's a lot of quiet confidence over there, man. I talked to a lot of people even yesterday, and it's just like, I think the O-line's going to be pretty good. They like what they have at quarterback with those guys. They think people are really sleeping on the running backs. I heard some very high compliment yesterday about Le'Veon Moss and then what Reuben Owens could be. I've heard things about, we keep hearing about the tight ends. They're talking about Jaden Platt, the freshman tight end, jumped 38 inches this week and 10.7 in the broad jump or something. That's insane. He's 6'5 plus 253 pounds or so. And that's a guy that we haven't even mentioned in the tight end mix as a true freshman that was here this spring. They're really excited about a lot on this roster, and they're excited about just the culture and the way they've gone about the offseason. Little things, dude, like shirt tucked in, everybody wearing the same shoes, going in the weight room, just little discipline things that they've accepted and that the older guys are making sure the younger guys are kind of understanding, hey, this is how we're going to do it. The older guys have bought in. That's what happens when you bring back Layden and McKinley and Ananias and Edgerrin and Damani, these guys that all opted to come back for one more year. And maybe I'm even leaving off somebody, but those guys coming back and they've bought in. So I think this is what I said. Every year there seems to be one SEC team, and everybody talks about it. There's one SEC team that joins Georgia and Bama. Not necessarily at the top, but near the top, where there's a portion of the season where they're at the top. Last year that was Tennessee, and then they beat Bama, and then it was really Tennessee. It was also LSU last year. They beat Bama. They were right. They played in the SEC title game. The year before it was Ole Miss, who went and that was the one thing they've done is they went 10-2, and then they went to the bowl game and got beat by Baylor. Good job, Dave Aranda, and Jeff Grimes. But they went up there and it was Ole Miss the year before. There's somebody every year that kind of takes that third spot. And I know the goal is to be above that third spot, but there's going to be a surprise team that ends up being really good in the SEC this year. And I don't think there's anyone as equipped, talent-wise, experience. They're still kind of a quote-unquote young team, but they're young guys that have played a lot.
Yeah.
It's a big difference. Their sophomores may as well be juniors is what I'm saying. That team, the most equipped, in my opinion, it's Texas A&M. A lot of people will say Arkansas because of one guy in K.J. Jefferson. Those same people don't know a lot about, say, perhaps Connor Wigman. So anyway, that to me, if I'm picking that team, it's probably Texas A&M. They're focused on South Carolina. They're focused on Arkansas. Who's got a better roster out of those teams? And you can even throw in Kentucky. It's Texas A&M. And A&M, I think, probably has a better roster right now than Tennessee, too, who's picked ahead of them. So we'll see.
All right, let's hit a break. We'll come back with Peter Burns next on TexAgs Radio.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. The theater company of Bryan College Station presents SpongeBob the Musical. Performances run through Sunday. Purchase tickets online at theatercompany.com/tickets. Early registration is open